All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Market Prep. I hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hopefully, you guys had an incredible day yesterday, an incredible weekend, actually, incredible weekend. Peter, my friend, how you doing today?
Good morning, Carlos. Yeah, I'm doing great. I had a good weekend. Had a normal weekend, I guess. Went to a hockey game yesterday out with friends on Saturday. Sat and watched a new show on Netflix on Friday. So sort of did a bunch of everything. How about you? Do anything fun?
Yeah, man. Spent it with the kids. We went soccer on Sunday morning for both sessions, my daughter and my younger son. And what we did Saturday was gymnastics and a birthday party at one of our friends' house, and we'd stay there well past into the evening hours. So that was a lot of fun. Kids enjoyed themselves. Good times, man. Great weekend. So,
Excellent.
uh,
Good.
good. Friends, welcome to Market Prep. I hope everyone's doing well this morning as we kick off this week, man. As this week cannot get exciting enough, we got more news breaking out. We'll get into all the fun stuff in just a second here. You see the title of the show, Deepseek, which is probably the first time many of us have heard of that terminology. I had to look it up here and see what the heck are these guys
Yep.
talking about. But we'll dive into that, especially when Peter goes over that gap down list there. But as you can see, it got pretty busy. And then aside from that, we have the four of the Magnificent Seven this week. All right, reporting Wednesday and Thursday. So again, very active week. I can't wait to see what this Monday is going to look like. Here's our gappers list. Very lopsided towards the red side of things, giving the latest news there. And if you scroll through it, anything tech, anything AI related, anything cloud based is somewhat on the downside of things. And then a little bit on the green here. Not much. All the fun, all the noise is on the gap down this morning. Before we jump into that, guys, let's take a quick look at our U.S. economic calendar and see what is happening there.
Well, I don't know about all the noise on the gap down. The gap up is small but mighty, I would say. But we'll get back to that. You're right. Economic calendar. I really only had one thing to note this morning, which is the new home sales coming out at 10. Expectation is that we're going to get 669,000 new home sales. We'll see what that number is at 10 a.m., like I mentioned. Earlier this morning, we did have the building permits come out. That was at 8 a.m. Came out pretty much right on target, 1.483 million was the forecast, 1.482 million was the actual. So I mean, it's pretty much dead on. So not much to report there. That being said, the SPY did and the Qs, the markets overall did a little bit of a dipsy doodle right at 8 a.m. and looks like we're continuing to move a little higher. That being said, it's higher from a low base, which is why our gappers list is so heavily weighted to the downside. So we'll see. I don't know what this means for this morning. This means we're going to get a move up once the opening bell rings. Are we going to go back down? I don't know. We're definitely sitting solidly in the red this morning with both markets down 2 to 3%. So that's a pretty big move overnight. So we're definitely looking red here this morning. And as I said, that's why if you look at our gappers list, it is heavily weighted to the downside. So, Carlos, when we get to that, we'll see what actually makes up both the gap up and gap down list. And like you were, sort of alluding to a minute ago, there's AI, man. Yeah, AI moved over the weekend. If there's one bright spot, that's it.
Yep, 100%, friends. Let's take a look at this gappers list and we'll get started here. We'll start right away because we got so much to go through. But leading the way this morning, JG. Okay. JG, let's see what's happening there. They are up 200% this morning, 10 million shares traded. Aurora Mobile is the name there. Hard to borrow. Float on this one, a low 5.3 million at the moment. So again, pretty low float right now. Very active. Peter, some news here, some contract stuff. What's the latest and greatest?
Yeah, so this is the story feels very complicated because we're going to see a couple of tickers that are all related to the same story. So this JG is a company called Aurora Mobile, which seems to be a cell phone service company out of China. They have a product called GPTbots.ai. So here's our AI tie-in that they have on their mobile platform, and they in turn have integrated this DeepSeek which is a sort of an AI low code based AI platform. generative learning platform that is incorporated into this Aurora Mobile's GPT Bots AI platform. So, complicated enough for you yet? Well, it's going to get more complicated when we start to learn who's behind DeepSeek and the different companies that are involved. Basically, most of our gap uplist seems to be related to this one news event. Now, what does it mean? That's a great question because I've been trying to figure that out all morning. It seems to, be just the general excitement over AI and the fact that it's getting more and more integrated. And this DeepSeek is reputedly, it's a combination. Now, it's actually owned by Baba, or at least it's owned by a company which is owned by Alibaba. So, but it's also an open source AI platform. So it's one of these where everybody, I guess, if you're in the know, DeepSeek is supposed to deliver better results and than a lot of the other AI type platforms out there. But it's Carlos. This is where the story starts to get complicated because we're getting halfway into the technology as to what makes it better, right? Like I mentioned, this is a low code type solution, which means it doesn't require the same high powered compute resources that a lot of other AI bots do require. Again, reportedly. So I don't know. Is this bad news for Nvidia? We don't need their high powered chips anymore. I wouldn't go that far, right? Like it's not that much of news. But I don't know. Like just this morning, this thing blew up, and I'd never heard of DeepSeek before, so I had to go look it up. So Carlos, we'll see. I mean, is this gonna? I guess we'll find out. If this is back tomorrow, then we'll know that maybe this starts to have a little more legs. But it feels like this might just be excitement over the weekend, and when we open the markets, will say, yeah, whatever, and just move on. But I don't know. We'll find
Yeah,
out.
we don't have all the details. Yeah, again, I'm learning about it for the first time
Uh,
this morning, and a few of the reports I have read, and there's tons of reports on this stuff. I haven't had time to dig into it. Is that it provides similar results at a fraction of what Nvidia does it. So time will tell. If that is the case, we already think Nvidia is already way overvalued. I mean, a lot of people feel that way. They feel that the AI sector is way overvalued. This does not help that situation, right? If you're telling me that somebody else in China can replicate the same results at a fraction of cost, that's a problem for Nvidia. But again, we have to see how valid this is. We got to give it time. It's too new right now. People in the know might already have the answer to that. We don't. But we'll see, man. At the end of the day, for me and you, Peter, this is amazing. This creates a lot of volatility. I mean, if you just look at the giant Nvidia right now and all its friends, diving here, this is awesome for us. This is what we want. We want volatility. Not great for investors. You're not happy today. If you just bought in a 148 and you're expecting a new all-time high in Nvidia, yeah, you're not dancing in the clouds. But here we are because we're going to be having a lot of fun with this intraday action that we're getting this morning. So yeah, so back to this gappers list, Peter. You mentioned a lot of these are in that sector. JG, Baba, you mentioned is part of somewhat involved in this situation. And then, yeah, let's see how the other ones look this morning. The next one on here is AKRO. So AKRO also gapping up 100%, 3.5 million shares traded. Is this part of well, it's a therapeutic, so it might be a little bit different, unless
yeah.
they're also using AI, which seems like everybody uses AI, no matter what business you're in.
I don't know. They might be using AI, but that's not what their story is about. This is one of our mandatory biotech companies that we need every Monday morning. We need at least one or more biotechs on here. This is a Caro Therapeutics. They have very positive top line results for in reversing compensated cirrhosis due to MASH. I don't know what MASH is, but anyways, that's an acronym, MASH. I don't think they mean the old show. Anyways, but it's a biotech with positive top line results. That's why they're gapping up. Again, this is typically goes right into that bucket of stuff that we typically ignore because it's just high risk, high reward type trading, which is really hard to manage your risk profile on because it's up 100%, like you mentioned, Carlos. 3.6 million shares traded. This is a stock that has doubled in price overnight. And if I'm looking at the price action so far this morning, it doesn't really look great to me. So, yeah, maybe I'll stick to the AI stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. I'm not a big fan of this one. Next on here is going to be ETNB. ETNB this morning, we are up 45%. 89 Bio, so it seems like another biotech company. 4 million shares traded. Also, actually, not a low flow, 112 million shares flow, so a little bit higher here and seeing some action. Again, I'm not a fan of the way these biotech companies trade. I find them difficult to trade my strategy on and for me to read the price action. So probably won't be on my list. Peter, anything to share as far as this 89 Bio?
Well, normally it's another biotech, and normally on these it's pretty easy to find the news because they've got some results that they've published, and usually that's positive and why they're on the gap up list on Monday mornings. This ETNB, however, I don't really see any news on it. I was looking to see maybe it was analysts. Nope, nope, no change in analyst reviews. Their short float isn't exceptionally high. I'm not sure what's going on with this. So if any of you guys have news out there, I mean, let me know. I don't, I'm not sure why this one's moving.
Yeah, yeah, I don't like it, so we'll move on. T. Oh, here's a company that we actually know. AT&T this morning, we're up in 3.9, 1.6 million shares traded. I believe I did see them on our earnings calendar. Peter, what's the latest and greatest?
Yep. Yeah, now this one, we do know what's happening here. Absolutely, like you said, earnings on AT&T, and very much surprise earnings. Now, their revenue was pretty much right on target, right? The expectation on their revenue, they pretty much came in right on target there. $32 billion worth of profit or revenue, sorry, was the expectation in this quarter, and they pretty much delivered that. Where the big surprise was that they just blew the doors off of their earnings. It was expected that they would bring in about we'll call it 3.4. I'll round up a little bit. 3.4 billion in profit. They actually delivered 4.4 billion. That is like almost 25% better than expected. And that's a 70% year over year improvement in their profit margins. So if anybody out there is an AT&T customer, you know, AT&T thanks you for helping them make lots more money because they have just made a lot more than expected. And the expectation is that this is their Q4, by the way, of this past year that closed. Their expectation is for the next year they're going to be able to continue that momentum. So they haven't actually come out with new numbers on their guidance, but as you can see, AT&T is jumping up quite heavily. I mean, for a company of this size with a float as big as AT&T's is, this is a pretty significant move. So it's definitely in play for today. Carlos, not one I would normally recommend trading, I'll be honest, but for 1.6 million shares pre-market on a NYSE stock the size of AT&T, I'm going to keep an eye on this. It's definitely making my list, I think.
Yeah, it's moving well. It's probably one of the only big companies that we know of in the gap up list besides Baba. We'll look at that next. But yeah, I like it this morning. Again, typically we don't have it on the list, but I think today would be worth putting on here, especially since we don't have a whole lot on the green side of things. Next is Baba. So we kind of spoke about this a little bit, Peter. So you did mention, for those that missed it earlier today, if you're just joining us, this is part of this Deepseek situation. So they're part owners, or what's the deal?
Yeah, they seem to be a back end, either a funder or owner of Deepseek. So that's why they're getting a little bump. I noticed Baidu was mentioned in the picture as well. It seems like everybody's got a piece of this startup. So, which makes sense, right? I mean, Alibaba's like a lot of the companies we're familiar with, that they just have investment fingers in everything. When you've got lots of cash, why not, right? You invest in a whole lot of startups, and you never know, there's going to be a couple of them that will just make good for you. And it looks like this DeepSeek is the one that's getting the mileage, anyways, on the news cycle this morning. So, yeah, Baba might be also a reasonable play this morning, Carlos. I was looking at it. It has really gotten terrible to trade over the last,
Yeah.
I don't know, year or so. Like, I used to love watching Baba. It was one of my regular go-tos. And I was just looking back on the daily chart. It's really been since about 2020, the beginning of 2023, when it was last a good trader. So it's been over a year that this thing really has not, almost 2 years that this thing hasn't traded very well. So will today make it a day of good trading? I'm highly skeptical, to be honest. But I might just put it, on a chart somewhere just to see what it does today. And wish it
Yeah.
luck, but yeah, I don't know.
I think it's worth watching. We got to see how much hype we're going to get out of this Deepseek situation, right? And obviously, people know Baba. They don't know some of these other tickers that are coming up out of left field that are involved in Deepseek. You know, you got everybody from, hey, I cleaned the server room at Deepseek, so look at me. Um, that's what's happening now, right? We saw this happen with Nvidia as well. When Nvidia first came out, you know, you had ARM, you had all these other branches sticking out that, oh yeah, we're involved as well. You know, tag us. So we'll see. I like Baba here this morning for that reason. If the hype continues, we might see some good stuff out of it. So we'll keep a close eye on it. All right, let's take a look at our gappers list, friends. I think that kind of covers it. There's one more on here, which is PDYN, and I believe this thing was on our list a couple of times, on and off, up and down. Today they were in the red, just making it to the green. Hard to borrow. I mean, this thing's been very active. Friday, look at the move it got here. I didn't look at it on Friday. We had other things to pay attention to, but look at the movement. Actually, moved pretty well. With looking at that chart, not sure how clean that was, but this thing is active, Peter. What's your thoughts on it today, and is it going to be on your list?
Yeah, I feel like this is just a me too. They're very good at that. At least the stock seems to be, and jumping on whenever there's news on AI. Palantine's like, don't forget about me. I'm out here because people are trading it with volume. So like you said, it's always in the conversation. Not one that I love to trade. I did watch it myself last week and didn't. I don't know. There's something about the way it moved that I didn't like. There's other better offerings I think out there. So Carlos, to your question, it's hard to borrow, which means I can't even short it. So no, I will not be actively watching it.
Yeah, that's the thing too. You can only play one way, which I don't like when I'm watching stocks. I want to be able to do both ways, especially you, Peter. You like to short more than to go long, so definitely
Yes,
not a
I
good one
do.
for you. Yeah. All right, Peter. That covers our gap up. If you look at it here, Baidu's popping up here, but again, probably just came to the list. Probably similar sympathy play with some of the Chinese tickers doing some stuff this morning. Anything else you like here as far as the gap up size?
Pretty much everything is on the gap down. No, so the short answer is no. We talked about everything on the gap up. The only sector I noticed is the Chinese EV sector seems to be gapping up this morning. LI, Neo, XPEV, all gapping up just under our margins, which wouldn't put them on our target list. Like LI is up 2.9%. And XPEV is up 2.6%. So, they just I'm not sure why they happen to be up this morning, but they are again sector that unfortunately, yeah, I've started to ignore recently. Other than Tesla, of course, Tesla is the only EV car company that we keep an eye on because it just trades with good volume. So, but other than that, nothing else.
Yeah, speaking of Tesla, it will be on my list. It's down right now, 3.1 this morning, 4 million shares traded, but we'll be watching this one today. It will be fun, especially going into earnings, right? We talked about earnings, four of the seven this week between Wednesday and Thursday. So since we're talking about it now, it's going to place Tesla right on here. All right, let's take a look at what's gapping down today. Let's dive in here. This is a massive, massive list. So listening to Jerry, Jerry was wishing me and you luck, Peter, as we went through the gap down list today, because everything they can possibly think of is on here, especially with this chip tech, cloud. I mean, you name it, they're on here this morning. If you touch computers, you're gapping down today. Let's see. Let's look at the first four or five, and then we'll hop around, right? We'll hop around here to some of the headlines. OKLO this morning, leading the way. We are down today. I mean, 20%, 4 million shares traded. This stock just recently had a nice little move up. I mean, this was beautiful. A couple of really nice days, and just out of nowhere today, we're getting a slam down. Peter, what's causing this drop for OKLO?
Well, and we did look this up on Friday, by the way, and learned that it's pronounced Oklo because we did watch
Okay,
as we
okay.
were heading into the close with an interview with the CEO. But anyways, Oklo. So Oklo is, yeah, I mean, this is a nuclear play, right? And it's expected to be in play in bigger business because of the demand on energy needed by all of this AI compute. I would say that this DeepSeek news is probably not good for them in that if this is right a much lower bandwidth type AI solution, then you don't need as much of the compute power nor energy that you need on a lot of the other solutions that have been proposed so far. Excuse me, so far. Now, that being said, Oklo is a North American nuclear play, at least primarily. So it's not directly impacted, but as we know, this is all about news cycle, right? It's the news cycle that matters on this. So I'm not surprised to see Oklo sort of at the top of the gap down list this morning. It had some news of some of the investors divesting their shares last week. I think this news is just another sort of another cut anyways in their proposed business model. That being said, let's not go too crazy. I mean, OKLO is still a $33 stock, off of its, I think, all-time high up around $45. And back 4 months ago, I would say this thing was trading at about $5 or $6. So they're still doing okay. We don't have to feel too bad for them.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I do like the drop here. This could be fun today. I feel like adding it to my list here, even as a secondary. Love the pre-market action, love the volume, and of course the news driving it down a little bit. So I'm gonna slam it here into my secondary list for now. Oklo, I might move this up a little bit later. Let's see how the list goes. All right, second one on our gappers list is going to be NBIS. So let's take a look at NBIS this morning, down 20%. Nibius Group from, I think, NV's Netherlands. Usually when we see that there. Peter, big drop for them this morning, 1.9. Sucks for us. We don't have shares for sure with Interactive Brokers. What's going on with this one today?
Well, this is really, I think, a second day play. So if you look, they had sort of spiked up on Friday after having a good run over the previous couple of weeks. They're really just sort of dropping down after that good news. The good news last week was that they had introduced a new suite of AI tools, of course, which was being integrated in some European companies' solution models. So they had some good sort of sales news and new product news. This is sort of just they're coming back down after that high. We didn't really watch it last week. I didn't see the volume in it at the time. I'm sort of surprised. A little bit more volume today. Like, we're already at 2 million shares, and even when it was spiking there, it was only trading about 8 to 14 million shares a day. So that's pretty good volume for a pre-market. But Carlos, I don't think I'm going to put it on my list. The pre-market action looks a little flat for me.
Yeah, that, and also I don't like the fact that we don't have shares for sure on it, so I'm gonna leave that one alone for right now. Let's look at one more. Then we're gonna hop around because I want to get to all the fun stuff that we have down there. VRT this morning we are down 17%. Verdict Holdings seems to be the name of the company, and if it's anything to do with real estate, it's just I don't want to deal with it. They don't trade that well, so I'm not sure what they do. But Peter, they're down 17% right now. 2.3 million shares traded. Big drop for them. Active pre-market. Anything fun for us to look at?
Again, I think this is just the other side of the Deepseek news. So they provide equipment. Specifically, they provide AI-ready power and cooling solutions for data centers. And again, if we've got a lower bandwidth, lower energy solution out there for AI potentially, that would mean that their sales may be hurt because you wouldn't need as much of their equipment. So again, this
Right.
is all theoretical, right? But it doesn't matter. We're playing the news hype, and the news hype right now is, oh, DeepSeek's awesome, right? And it's going to cut power and compute requirements, slash them into a fraction of what they are today. So you notice we're seeing sort of a lot of the traditional the AI suppliers that we thought were going to get a huge boost. Sort of they're taking a hit this morning. This VRT is just another example.
Wow, yeah, it's insane. Just thinking how fragile this AI thing could be at times, right? Some little bit news comes out, somebody could do it cheaper, and everybody's just jumping ship here. All right, let's hop around. Let's look at the big guy because we got so much to cover on the sea of red. I mean, everything. The names. Look at the names. Amazon, Coin. Let me show you guys. Tesla, Snap, Meta. I mean, it's all red. Uber. MSTR, AMD. I mean, whatever you have traded in the last 6 months is here in the red today. That's how big this is. QBT, also red. Where's RGTI? RGTI right there as well.
Yeah.
So you name it, it's on this list. Peter, let's talk about NVIDIA. We spoke a lot about DeepSeek already, what's going on there. For those that are just joining us, DeepSeek is something that a lot of us are hearing it for the first time in just the last couple of hours. And the idea is that they can provide the same OpenAI results at a fraction of a cost of what Nvidia is using to provide some of the results, right? This company's been out for a year from what I've seen so far. There's so much more I have to read on it, so I don't have all the data yet. But that's big. If you could, and they are using, by the way, Peter, they are using Nvidia chips, just not the fancy $30 million chips that are out there. They're using Nvidia chips just out of, not the high end stuff that Nvidia is claiming you need to get AI running the way it should. So,
Well, right. And the cost behind it too, right? Like the
yeah,
DeepSeek model. So OpenAI's GPT model costs a little more than $100 million to train. We've heard Nvidia, we've heard others talk about the hundreds of millions. Just last week, Zuckerberg was talking about the hundreds of millions he was going to pour into his AI models. They said that DeepSeek's model only cost about $5.6 million to train it fully. And when we say train it, that's, I guess, the terms that they use now to, you know, give it the intelligence it needs to be able to answer
right.
your questions. So that, once again, it's showing a much cheaper approach and fractionary cost model to really get it up and running. Now, again, is it sustainable? Is it verified? I don't know. I mean, it's one of those where right now we're worried about the hype cycle, and right now the hype is all on DeepSeek, and therefore the hype is off all of the stuff that we traditionally have been trading. And like you said, Carlos, if we look at our gap list on the gap down, it's pretty much every AI ticker that we've been looking at over the last 6 months. Pretty much
Yeah.
everything else is down. If you're related to DeepSeek, you're up. If you're not related to DeepSeek this morning in the AI space, you're down. Like, so that's pretty much how you can separate them.
Summarize it.
Like,
Yeah.
and it's yeah, and it's all reactive. So that's okay.
Yeah.
That's what we trade, right? And we'll just see where
That's
this goes this
That's
morning.
what we want. Yeah. One of the things that also that it's been circling around is the fact that it is open source. So meaning they're sharing the code with other companies so they can copy it and they can build their own AI, solutions. So it's not good for Nvidia, man. If this thing is real deal, Nvidia is going to have some explain to do on their numbers and an evaluation. But yeah, this will be a lot of fun. All right, friends, our gap up list, you take your gap down, take your favorite here. Obviously, I'm going to have Nvidia. I am going to be looking at, Peter, what do you like on some of these as far as this news goes? We like Nvidia, of course. What's on your list?
Well, I mean, if you say related to this news, then definitely I think, like I mentioned, this JG, which is one of the first ones we talked about, up 160%. I just feel I have to keep an eye on that one because
Mm-hmm.
it's sort of right at the middle of this whole conversation. Other than that, I'm gonna have to wait and see which continues to play in the scanners, because there's a couple of them that are only that are hard to borrow, which means you can't short them, and I never like that. I'm definitely gonna be watching Nvidia because I always watch it. I think of any company is on the risk of being taken down as a result of this, it is Nvidia, and they're down pretty big, right? 10%. That's
Yeah,
huge. that's
significant.
that's a,
Yeah.
that's a big number. So, look, but don't count them out. I'm not suggesting it's going to go down another 10%, right? I mean, before you know it, Nvidia could be back up to where we closed on Friday. So one or the other, this thing is in play. I'm just going to wait and see how the market reacts, especially once the opening bell rings. So, but Nvidia absolutely is on my list. And then outside of this news, Carlos, I would say that I'm fascinated that pretty much all of the Magnificent Seven are down, with the exception of Apple. So I'm going to be watching Tesla. I'm going to be watching Meta. Obviously, Meta has been big in the conversation about where they're investing, what they're going to be doing. I don't see huge volume on them. They're about 2 million shares, which is more than normal for this time in the morning, but not massively more. So Tesla, Meta, and then again, I'm curious. I'm just interested on this little bounce on Apple here. I keep hoping Apple's going to do fun things for me. This morning they're just green. They've been green. They've been red. They've been green. They've been red this morning. So they're not part of the AI conversation. It doesn't feel like, but they're just. I just want to see what happens with them. So.
Yeah, Apple's a good one, man, because you're right. They're not part of this AI conversation. They spend all their money and time trying to build a car that never came to suit there. The Apple car, they spend all their last 10, 20 years on this thing and nothing happens. They just scrap the program. So they're not part of the conversation. But Apple, man, the great thing is they have a phone. So whoever's going to be running these AI stuff is going to probably be using an iPhone, right? 20% of the population does right now. So they win in that direction if they can sell phones. Let's see if that goes. They got to sell phones first. All right, friends. So my list right now, I have AT&T. They're looking decent today. Tesla, Nvidia, JG with all this DeepSeek news. Apple, and then on my secondary list, I have Oklo and also Baba this morning. So that's what I have there. Again, today your list could look completely different, and it could still be a great one. All right, let's get over to our chat, guys. What do you guys like this morning? What's on deck that maybe we haven't talked about yet, or maybe some news we haven't missed? Because again, this DeepSeek is kind of taking over a lot of the gappers list and a lot of the moves this morning in the market. What else you have out there? Let's see. Tickers here. What do we have? JC. Yep, all the ones that we've been mentioning already. So yeah, pretty much that's what's moving. Apple, we have Apple. Yes, that's good. We have that as well. SoFi. Let's take a look at SoFi. This morning we are down 8.3, 16 million shares traded. Again, this is same news here, right? I don't think there's anything different. Something else that we haven't talked about is Bitcoin. I see Mara down 4.5. I see Hood down as well. So let's talk about that. Coin as well is down. Let's see how some of these tickers look. Pulling up Mara now, we are down 4.8, 2.1 million shares traded. So again, not down by a whole lot. You do got some great volume on it. MSTR this morning also down 3.7, 1.3 million. Peter, how are cryptocurrencies doing, and anything fun over the weekend?
Well, Bitcoin specifically has slid in the early hours here. Last night, it started a slide which continued into the early hours this morning. So the last 12 hours have seen it gone from about 105,000 all the way down to a low of 98,000 for a Bitcoin. It's sitting just above 100,000 right now. 100,546 is the price of a Bitcoin at the moment, depending which service you look at, of course. But we keep saying that $100,000 mark's important for Bitcoin to hold, and it had been doing it for the last week. It had easily been over 100,000, not a lot over it, but 102 to 106,000 is sort of the general range that it was trading in. So yeah, this move just last night is interesting that it sort of pop down, and I guess we'll just see what happens. It's going to bring, of course, all of the cryptocurrency trading stocks down with it, like Coin and Mara and those other ones. But Carlos, like we said many times, the problem is, unfortunately, they just don't seem to trade very well during the market hours. So many of these moves are overnight or over the weekend that we just don't get the good moves in the stocks that we can trade in the market. So, because of that, this is not, yes, Bitcoin price is down. I'm not going to be watching the sector really this morning. Other than that, in crypto, I don't really see anything else interesting. There is the only thing I did notice this morning is there is an actual Deepseek AI crypto coin that's out there. Of course there is, right?
Of course. Why would they not be?
Of course.
Yeah.
Somebody's always going to jump on these things and take advantage of it. Is it related to the actual DeepSeek AI company? Not that I can tell, but it's always tough to tell, right? Who originated this? Where does it sit? This coin has gone from practically zero to it jumped all the way up to a high a few minutes ago of what the hell? It's a ridiculous price. I don't even know what to tell you. Like, this is $0 to the factor of 10.2498. So basically, this is like one trillionth of a penny. That's what it's worth. But its value has increased. Well, it was up 1,200% when I started talking. Now it's only up 124%. That shows you how volatile this. Anyways. Probably we shouldn't even talk about it. It's ridiculous.
It's wild.
I just saw it on the list. Yeah,
it's wild. Friends, again, if you're just joining us, here's our gap down list. Heavy on the gap down with this news of DeepSeek coming out. Company was out a year ago, but today they seem to just have blown up into our news feed here and driving everything down. Comments in chat are asking if DeepSeek is using Nvidia chips, what's the difference? Well, the difference is they're not using the expensive chips, right? So they're still using Nvidia chips, but not the big ones that use a lot of power.
So,
once you start using more power, more energy, it's a lot, man, that goes into it. So big difference as far
In our
as cost.
Yeah, in our chat room, Gary gave a great summary here. I'm not sure where you got it from, Gary L, but thank you for this. Let me just repeat it for everybody on YouTube because you can't see this. So, to give you an idea of what DeepSeek, how it's sort of shaking up the market this morning. Again, is it a sustainable shakeup? We don't know. But here's the news: DeepSeek is out, and the training costs for DeepSeek are 5 million versus 100 million for most other AI tools. The GPU cycles, 100,000 is the typical measure of GPU cycles needed. They can do it with under 2,000 cycles, which means their API costs are about 95% cheaper. It can run on your laptop or desktop. It can run on a typical gaming GPU and doesn't need the heavy data center architecture that a lot of these other AI models need. So it's sort of giving a different perspective of what you could potentially do with AI. Again, are we going to find flaws in it and faults? I don't know, but it's certainly a radical departure from the compute heavy infrastructure that so far we've been told all AI needs, right? So that's why DeepSeek is causing such a stir and such ripples in the market this morning.
Yeah, yeah. And one of the things too is like when I first thought about it, what, Chinese company? Okay, you think US gonna allow you to do that?
Well,
But when you read open source and they're allowing other companies to kind of copy the code and do it themselves, that changes the feel here, Peter, because now it's not like they're running the information. It's out there for everybody else to do it with their own company. So, but Peter,
well,
there's so much
you
to
know,
it too. Like, yeah.
I'll put a big asterisk on that because there is a thing that we have to remember. Open source means that others can program on the platform, right? And yes, they provide the code and they welcome others to sort of write code against it and on top of it. The reality is, though, there can sort of be kernels within it that aren't necessarily accessed by all who are writing on the platform. So we haven't talked about that, but there's a nationalistic perspective here that could come into play that we haven't heard yet. But this is a Chinese company with Chinese developed code, which always sort of gets regulators nervous. Where does it come from?
Well, look at
Who owns
TikTok.
it? How's it being managed?
Yeah,
where
yeah.
where does it feed data to? Right, like it's one of these things where it's great to make it open source and freely available because then everybody can feel free to download it, especially with its low latency. It still doesn't mean that there can't be code kernels within it that may do things that people just aren't actively aware of. So I'm not suggesting there is. I don't know, but it's just one of those where we keep running into these code blogs that come out, and it's I don't know. Like this is past my knowledge in terms of how the coding structure works. But I
Yeah.
was reading an article this morning where they were like, we don't actually know the code development, what are they trying to say? How where this came from? Who had actually initiated? Who's got other fingers in the pie? But you know what? We could probably say that for every one of the AI tools out there, right? So it's just one of those.
It's
It's just
so,
one of
so
those
much
things that
unknown. Yeah, yeah,
there always is on these, right? So
yeah.
anyways, we'll see what happens. Whatever happens, we know it's a developing story, which means there is trading opportunity, and frankly that's what we're focused on
That's
this
all we
morning.
need. Yeah, we're seeing the volatility. I mean, look at Nvidia getting shaken up here. I mean, this is great for us. We're gonna take advantage of that. Again, it's just the news don't have a bias. It can go either way here. But I think it'll take a few days to really understand what this DeepSeek situation is going to be like. Peter, with that said, let's get over to what we do know a lot about is our community events and announcements. What's happening this week, starting with tonight, the onboarding class. Can't wait to see a lot of you guys there tonight. As I get the website up here for you guys to take a look at. Here you go. You can always head over to bearwithtraders.com, click on webinars right on here, and this will bring you over to what's happening for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. And like Carlos just mentioned, Monday means that this is when we welcome all of the new members that have joined over the weekend or the past week. If you want to join the onboarding class, which happens every Monday evening, it's a great opportunity to get oriented with the services that we provide at Bearable Traders, and give you a little bit of trading tips and tricks, how to get started, how to configure your environment, what to look for. It's a great session. If whether you're brand new or you maybe just want a refresher or you want to help some of the new members, join Carlos. That's at 8 o'clock on Mondays. We hope you will be there. Then earlier today in the onboarding room, which means it's available to all membership classes here at Bearable Traders, Brendan does a DOS Trader Pro setup course, which really just helps you understand how can I get the most out of DOS Pro. It's a platform a lot of people use. It really helps you understand how to configure it. It is a great tool. I've been using it for almost a decade now, but I'll tell you, it's not always easy to find all of the things that it can do. So it's good to get a leg up on that and leverage the experience of not only Brendan, but the entire chat room. So if you're interested in that, join today at noon with Brendan. Now, Tuesdays, we always do our strategy webinar. And this Tuesday, Phil is going to be leading our webinar, talking about how you can grow a small account. We've got 2 weeks now of options. Phil is going to be talking options and how you grow a small account using options. And then next week, Jared's going to talk a little more in depth, a little more complicated of debit verticals and how you can use them on option trading. So as we know, Jared is our foremost expert on trading options and really understands this backwards and forwards. So if you want to get in depth next week, put that on your calendar. This week, Phil's going to talk about just how to use a small account, because options are very cash efficient, and you can understand how maybe you can manage that risk while looking at options for growing a small account. Wednesday, we talk psychology, and our psychology webinar this week is going to be delivered by Randy Howell, who's been with us for a while and delivers great webinars all the time. He's going to talk about how you can stress-proof your mind. We had a great webinar last week. This is going to build on that, talking about how you stress-proof your mind. So Randy's going to take us through that one again this Wednesday at 8 p.m. And then the week after, Dr. Kenneth Reed will be back with us, talk about how you win the long game. And we're all about the long game here, right? We're not trying to show you how to make money once. We want to teach you how to make money consistently. So you think about the long game, and if you're doing that, then you want to put Dr. Reed's webinar on your calendar for February the 5th. But for this week, you should pay attention to Randy Howell's webinar coming up this Wednesday, the 29th. Don't forget, on Wednesdays, we also have our Bookmap webinar delivered by Nathan. Bookmap is another tool that helps you visualize volume in the market. If you're interested in doing that, you can attend Wednesday at noon. That is in the webinar room for everybody who's interested. Thursdays, then, we focus on mentorship. As always, we've got 4 mentorship sessions for you, starting with John at 11 a.m. We then switch our focus to options with Jared and Megan at 2 p.m. Then we have a session at 4 p.m. That you can attend, led by Lenny and Pierre. And then, of course, Thor does his Thursday evening session at 8 p.m. So Monday through Thursday in the Bearable trading community, we have events for you. That's what they are. Make sure you put them in your calendar so that you're ready for them. And what doesn't need a calendar entry is tradingterminal.com. They sponsor our Gappers list this morning. We use them to understand what's happening, not only that, but on the economic calendar and so much more. Check it out, tradingterminal.com. It's a great place to get all the information you need on the markets. It's built by traders, for traders, and it's a great, great tool. So check it out. All right, Carlos, let's set some levels on all of this crazy stuff that's moving this morning. Then I'm going to let you guys know what our moderators are watching, and we will get ready for this, what should be, I hope, an exciting week and a fun open.
Yeah, 100%, man. I'm excited for this week. It's a lot going on, and we're starting off this Monday the right way. It's going to be an exciting one as we look at it right now. All right, my list right now, guys. AT&T, they're moving well in the pre-market, so I like that today. Tesla also down 3.3. That's looking interesting. We have Nvidia. We have JG giving all the Deepseek stuff, so they're in the middle of all of this. Baba is somewhat involved as well, so I have them on my secondary. And then we have Apple also this morning trying to hold on to this base. Is that the 200 moving average on the daily? It is. It could be very, very interesting. Seeing some support here in Apple on the bouncing right off the 200 moving average on the daily today. So a lot happening. Hopefully you can get some great trading out of this. Let's go to AT&T this morning. High of the pre-market is going to be 23.61. So we'll slam one there. Above that, we do have 23.81. So that's good as well. We'll put a level there also. And then right up here, 23.99 might actually be 24. Another great level towards the top there. And then towards the bottom on the daily as well, we do have 23.12. And below that, guys, highs and lows for the last 2 trading days got you pretty much covered. Let me change this color to something that's a little more visual. There it is. It looks a lot better. All right. So there it is on AT&T. Again, typically we don't like this stock, but pre-market shows a lot of activity. Let's hope that the market open can give us some good action on this. Here's Tesla. So Tesla down 3.4 4.6 million shares traded. So also taking a little bit of a dive this morning. Low of the pre-market 379 even, and then towards the top there we're going to look at 397.90 is the high of the pre-market. So there's your highs and your lows. And look, no coincidence, these are slamming into areas where we've seen prior support and resistance. You could take a look at that on the daily. Even the high of the pre-market also hitting an area where a lot of days have been slamming into it, opening and closing right around that 397.90. So looking good there. Towards the top, don't need to add anything. You're pretty much set. And towards the bottom, in case we lose this support, we're going to look at 359.51, and then all the way down here, friends, 336.82. All right, the big story, Nvidia with this Deepseek taking a bit of a dive here, trying to hold the low of the pre-market 122.77, and you can see it's showing a little bit more weakness now. Maybe going to retest that level. So 122.77 towards the top. We do have some big levels within the high and the low of the pre-market today. 131.83 is a good one. Your high of your pre-market is going to be right at 135.90. So that's a great level there. And then if we look towards the bottom here on the daily, some really nice level, 120. And we also have 115.52. So again, this Deepseek news dropping this one and bringing up HG. So HG here is on the winning side of the situation. We are 21.49 is the high of the pre-market. We're up 176% on this thing. Float on it, by the way, 5.36 million. So very low flow ticker. But we know this thing is hot today, and it will be a fun one to watch. I expect this to be heavily in play, especially as more people are finding out about this DeepSeek news or results that we have been receiving now. 15 to 25, another great level, and then also off the pre-market, 12.94. It'll be a good one as well. Let me look at the bigger picture. Again, first time we're looking at this ticker. We have not seen these guys before. They've been higher, maybe a couple of splits here. Who knows? Reverse splits, that is. Another level on the weekly, because again we can see some heavy moves here. 28.19 just in case we get going, and we also have 37.76. I know you're, yeah, go ahead.
We're just seeing the 5 minute on the
Oh,
screen. If you
sorry,
can throw
guys. Yeah,
weekly over.
there it is. Here's the
There you
weekly.
go.
Sorry about that. Thanks, Peter. So here's the weekly. We've been much higher. I assume a couple of reverse splits, right? This is what I was showing you earlier. Just there might be some crazy numbers here, but for the most part, this is what's hot, and this is the biggest one we see, kind of taking some of the benefits of this news that has been released there. So. All right, so that's good. And then the last but not least is going to be Apple. So if we take a look at Apple here on the daily, we're going to focus in on this area. We got a little bit of support happening off that previous day close. We keep going back and forth between green and red this morning. So low of the pre-market on Apple all the way down to 218. Since then, we have recovered pretty nicely and trying to stay in the green. That's hitting your 200 moving average on the daily, which many traders look at. So be mindful of that. We could see some big support there. 214.27 towards the bottom in case we do decide to drop there. And then towards the top, we do have our highs and lows for the last 2 trading days. You can mark down your high of your pre-market, just slightly above the previous day close. And once you do that, you're pretty much set when it comes to Apple here. So yeah, so pretty good. Peter, show us what our moderators are watching this morning.
Actually, one thing I wanted to mention in all the excitement over the DeepSeek and the AI space, we can't lose sight of the U.S. economic calendar and specifically rate announcements. Wednesday of this week, we're expecting the next rate announcement out of the Fed. And the expectation is overwhelmingly 97.3% at the moment that the rates will be unchanged. Now, normally a rate announcement is a big deal for the markets. We see a lot of market reactivity. The fact that the expectation that markets are going to be unchanged may mean that we have a little bit of a tamer week. So again, Wednesday, usually that happens around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We'll see what happens as we get closer. We'll talk more about it, but I just thought I'd let you know right now, the overwhelming expectation is rates are unchanged, which means, of course, if rates do change either way, yeah, the market will go crazy. But it's probably going to be no change, but we'll see what happens. Anyways, so that's coming up on Wednesday. So mark that in your calendar as well. As we said, let's take a look at what our moderators are watching. If I go to the chat room here and take a look what's on their list, I'm going to start right at the top with the first person in, who is Sean. Once again, he's got his detailed analysis up there. So click on that. He'll let you know what he's looking at and why he's looking at it. Specifically, he's going to be looking at the markets overall, Nvidia and Tesla. Lenny's in with his list. He's going to be watching Nvidia, Micron, Tesla, AT&T, Baba, and Oklo. Thor is going to be watching Nvidia, MSTR, and Tesla. Jared, he's watching Nvidia, Baba, JG, Apple, and MLGO. Mike is going to be watching Baba, Oklo, and Apple. Andrew is watching Nvidia, Tesla, AMD, Microsoft, PLTR, and TQQQ. There's a lot. Andrew says, tons to watch today. Manage risk accordingly. Wise words there. Absolutely. All right. Megan's watching Nvidia. She's watching to see the overall market and how this will drop. If it does, I said Nvidia's down 12% now. So yeah, it's really hurting this morning with this news on the opposite side of its benefit proposition. So we'll see what happens. Eamon is going to be watching Apple and AAL for potential longs. Pierre is going to be watching Tesla, Apple, Nvidia, and RGTI. And I want to issue congratulations, by the way, to Pierre and his new fiance. They got engaged over the weekend, and congratulations to them. Very exciting. All right. I'm watching AMD, Tesla, and Nvidia. On a secondary list, I've got Apple, JG, and AT&T. Brendan is going to be watching Nvidia, AMD, Tesla, and Apple. And Phil is going to be watching Nvidia, MSTR, Apple, Tesla, and JG. So you can see we're all keeping our eye on this AI sector. We want to see what happens. JG is sort of the new entry, right? Not one that we've traded regularly, but it is front and center with this news today. So we will see what happens. All right, we've got our live traders, Andrew, and getting ready. In fact, who did we end up getting in live here to replace Brian? Because I know Brian isn't actually available this morning. Normally he's
That's
trading
right.
live with
Brian
us.
is doing some travels here. No, I don't think anybody took the spot. So that spot is open right now, Peter.
Okay,
So
well, mods, if anybody wants to jump in, we'd love to have you.
Okay, well,
we got Andrew joining.
yeah,
I
I
can
think
tell
that's
based on
Andrews.
that echo.
Yeah, let me. I think he muted it already.
Fix that
Okay,
echo.
so yeah, yep, we're good.
So yeah, if somebody wants to jump in with Andrew, that would be great, right? You could trade live at the open with him. I said I'm happy to do it, but I'm not, I'm not that active of a trader, so I might be quite boring. Thor, if you're out there and you want to jump in, or anyone else, feel free. Just let Carlos know. He can give you the link, and you can jump right in on the feed here. Good morning, Andrew.
Set him
I
up.
hope you had a fantastic weekend. How are you doing today?
Good morning, sir. I had an amazing weekend. Hope everybody doing great. Market is gapping down, accused 3.5%. Everybody knows that. It's by 2%. Surprising, the IWM and Dow Jones are not gapping down that much. Good morning, everybody on YouTube. Good morning, everybody in the chat room. It's going to be a very interesting day, and everybody knows why, so no need to talk about that front. I am sharing my screen in the chat room right now. Everybody should be able to see my screen in the chat. And guys, remember on YouTube, it's a little bit delayed. So if you want to follow our trades, remember that a little bit delayed and you won't be able to see my screen in real time. So So OKL always gapping down a lot because that's the nuclear energy company by Sam Altman for really essentially providing power for all the AI. But if this Chinese model can run more efficiently, then probably we don't need that much nuclear energy. The usual suspects, NVIDIA is pretty nice. One thing that about the NVIDIA guys is that I noticed that you can actually trade NVDL, which I'm probably gonna do, and probably NVDS. So NVDS is a short of NVIDIA, and if you want to go, short NVIDIA, you can go long NVDS. It's at 1 times short, and because NVDA probably is going to be on a short selling restriction, so a little bit difficult to get filled. So you can buy NVDS, which is exactly tracking it. And remember, this one is 1.5. NVDL on the other side is 2 times long. So if the NVIDIA is dropping 12%, this is going to be 24% down. So it's a good replacement. I might actually trade NVDL and NVDS because they're way more capital efficient. But be careful, they're all obviously more volatile as well. Yeah, you're right, Alex. NVDS is 1.5 times. Same for Tesla. You can actually go TSLL and TSLS. TSLL is 2 times long, which is again gapping down 7%. TSLS is 1.5 short. So you can go long on them. So yeah, that's one way of doing it. Or you can just trade the options. That would be also very efficient, capital efficient. So NVDA daily chart, obviously we have this 200 moving average at around 122. So the demand for NVDA chips are going to be lower. So the news is pretty bad, but I don't know if it actually can hold that much lower. So you don't know exactly what's going to happen with the market, to be honest with you. We never really can predict the price action in the market just based on the news. When the day Russia attacked Ukraine, market gap down 3%, just rallied up 5%. You really don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody can look at the price action now and say what's going to happen. So that's why the opening price action is super important. See in the first 5-10 minutes what's going to happen. And if we are above the VWAP or below the VWAP, that dictates the kind of direction. Anyone who says, oh, I know what's going to happen, probably don't know what they're talking about. Very speculative right now. Yeah, see, Fakram Water, we talk about that. Like nobody really knows exactly what's going to happen. Again, NVIDIA can rally, 4% or can drop another 10%. Surprisingly, Apple is holding. So Apple is pretty beaten up. And this week is one of the most important week for earnings season. I think like 20% of NASDAQ are reporting today. So
Hey,
there's
what's
a
up,
lot
boss?
going on this week. Hey, boss, how are you?
Good. What's going on?
I am good. Well, I'm glad that you're trading with me.
Yeah, I thought I'd come co-pilot with you. I'm no prophet of profit, but I'll come in here and hang out and maybe give you a little support, do a little book read for you while you're looking to do some fun trades. I actually bought the sell. I was awake at 5:30 this morning Eastern because my son has to go to school, and I saw the sell-off happening on the ES. So I actually bought that low when it sold off and already hit a full target this morning by about 8:30 in the morning. So it's pretty good way to start out a Monday with all this volatility going on. So, I'll take it.
Yeah, I remember that like at 6 a.m. in the morning, like Qs dropped to 500 and quick bounce. I wish I was awake. I wasn't. I would have bought some TQQQ.
Yeah, it was a really rare moment. It'll be really interesting to see how today goes because, most of these tickers are actually opening below their ATR, the amount we would expect them to sell off in a day. They're already past that. So the question is, do we bounce? And we obviously have new home sales coming out at 10 a.m. So, and I expect that will likely, we could basically reopen the market at 10 a.m. if you think about it, depending on how that information comes out. So it'll be really cool to see what we do there.
Yeah. So 10 seconds, 20 seconds to the open, guys. I personally wait at least a few minutes to see what's going to happen. I think it's going to be a volatile day. So even if you miss trading, I'm sure you're going to get another opportunity. All right. Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding, ding. Let's see what NVIDIA is doing.
I can go ahead and get my screen up too, so I can share book map and stuff like Brian does.
So the volume on PLTR crazy, NVDA crazy.
When I share my screen, folks, if it takes over from Andrew's, go up to the top and you'll see another tab there up there. It says Carlos screen, Andrew screen, my screen. You can see, you can switch back and forth up there if you want to watch Andrew's, because his is going to be a lot funner than mine.
PLTR is also having heavy volume. I have some issues with my DAS. It seems a little bit delay. Usually on crazy days like this, yeah, my platform is, yeah, exactly, Sarif. That's what I was going to say. DAS always has this issue when the volatility is crazy.
Yeah.
Uh,
A lot
so
of
I am
data, a lot of orders coming through. The ES right now is buying like crazy out of the open. I'm squeezing quite aggressively.
Yeah, Apple is actually super strong. Apple is long. Yeah, I'm not gonna make any trade, guys, until this situation resolves. Yeah, even the scanner has issues. Like it seems that. Yeah, I won't be able to trade, guys. I'm getting issues with my platform. Yeah, market is rallying.
May want to try I just switched quote servers and I'm doing a little bit better. I went to one of the obscure ones like a little later in the numbers, and that seemed to help a little bit.
Yeah, I'm having more serious issues right now. Let me close my platform. Yeah, give me a second, guys. I'm having issues with the platform. And this is the time that you don't want to trade, guys, because then you're going to be super disappointed. Let me see. Yeah, that's completely crashing. Right, so Apple is squeezing significantly.
Really nice squeeze there on Tesla as well.
Nice. Right, so I'm back online. PLTR is also squeezing very nicely. Let's take a look at it. Let's evaluate the situation here. NVIDIA is popping up. I'm long NVIDIA and NVIDIA, actually 127.47. Yeah, I'm long NVIDIA. It's squeezed above the VWAP. So at 126 would have been a very good entry. So I'm long NVIDIA, guys. 127.
Order book looking pretty bullish there. That's a good long. I like it.
I'm long NVIDIA, guys. I'm long PLTR as well, guys. PLTR also squeezed above the VWAP. At 74.50, but PLTR. Let's see if NVIDIA adding more on NVIDIA. Let's see if we can go to 128. PLTR, I'm gonna get out of it. All right, so yeah, let's see if NVIDIA can go to 128.
I opened a short on Tesla off of 399. Order book was looking a little bearish and it pulled back to R3 one calc, S4 the other. So we'll see what happens here. I already have a really nice win off the morning. So if this one squeezes out, which it might well do, because the market looks like it wants to rally a bit, but if it pops up here, I'll take this one off, and it'll be my my loser for the day. It's really important for me whenever my first trade's a winner. I always try and make sure I take a second trade to see if I can capitalize on the fact that I started out with an opening win. A lot of people trade more when they lose. I try to trade more when I win, and when I lose, I tend to stop trading very, very quickly. So let's see what we can get out of this one.
Yeah, I'm still long on NVIDIA, guys. Let's see, it's putting back to a VWAP. Let's see what's going to happen. I'm getting a stop down on PLTR, guys. It's 73.81. Yeah, I'm stopped out on the PLTR. Let's see if NVIDIA holds above the VWAP or not. My average on NVIDIA is 127.30. That was a massive run. I wish I was seeing it at 126 when it squeezed up. So let's see. SPY squeezed up, Q squeezed up. TQQ could be a good replacement for the market. All right, so let's see if NVIDIA can do 5-minute opening range break up. Or not. Tesla might go toward the 400 S3. So I'm holding a position, guys, on NVDA. It's right at my break even. Let's see if it can actually go higher or not. The volume is crazy on NVDA. It's crazy. It was 40 million shares volume in just 1 minute. TSM, Taiwan Semiconductor is also bouncing back.
Let me get my full-size book map loaded up too, because then I can watch what I'm watching and then show you guys the other one.
Okay, so let's see what NVIDIA is doing at the VWAP. I might get a stopped out if it loses the VWAP. So market still
Yeah, we're getting a lot of buying pressure here too on mine. I might not, this one might just be a done for me, which would be fine. I don't mind being done early today. But I'm just holding.
I'm back long on PLTR 74.25. Let's see if PLTR can go back toward 75. Still holding the NVDA. See if it's gonna lose the VWAP or not. Still holding the VWAP. SPY is trying to go back high of the day. Yeah, NVIDIA doesn't look great. Like an ABCD pattern. SPY looks like an ABCD pattern. Let's see. NVDA still 1 minute is above the VWAP. Tesla is also doing nothing. Yeah. All right, I'm getting a stop down on NVDA, guys. Accepting the loss. See what NVDA is doing, if it closes above the VWAP again or not.
Dang.
Still
My
long on
stop is just
PLTR.
above 401. It looks like I'm going to get taken out. So, meh. Yeah, I'm out.
All right, so yeah. Were you shorting Tesla?
Yeah, I had a really nice drop on it too. It just didn't really quite get going, and then it popped up. I had a feeling that was good, but it was a good. I like the spot. It was a good try, but.
Yeah, so I want to see if PLTR can pop up a little bit more. I had a very big loss on NVDA, so let's find the next trading opportunity. T is hitting the scanner, Vanya. Let's see. TNT is super strong. Is that an earning on T? I think TNT had the AT&T had the earning. What was the other one that
That is correct.
Jared was watching? JG.
What was that? I just heard. I heard the voice of knowledge speaking.
AT&T had earnings, and they smashed their revenue numbers, delivering an extra $1 billion over forecast.
Wow, yeah, it's super strong. It's up 7%. It's a very nice 1 minute open range break up. All right, NVDA was a very serious loss for me. I don't know what the direction NVIDIA is going to go. PLTR is still long. We want to see what PLTR is going to do. NVIDIA still hasn't lost the VWAP completely. Q's bounced back very nicely. QQQ.
Order book on Nvidia is looking
Apple's
a little
turned out to be
bearish.
strong. No trade for me except the PLTR that I'm long at 74. All right, so that's nice. Apple's popping. I'm surprised that Apple is just rallying. Super strong. Yeah, Apple was really beaten up in the last couple of weeks. So it seems that it doesn't have, and Apple is invested in AI, but I think they're less, a little bit on exposure to the rest of the companies. Like Apple is also big in AI. Like I think they have a lot of plans for AI, but it looks like they're a little bit less impacted. It's already beaten up really bad, and Apple earning is also this week.
You never thought like being like too into the AI was going to end up being a bad thing, but it just shows you how these market trends just flip on a dime. Like you've been in enough markets now, Andrew, to see like how many different times EV sector, pot stocks, Tesla, the meme, like everyone's always just jumping to the new like bright shiny, object. Now everyone's like, uh-oh, too shiny. It's kind of funny seeing it do it this way, but
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. I
blockchain,
think well,
exactly,
AI
Dan.
is definitely very like changing. Like this is definitely not a hype overall. I think it's changing our life significantly. It's like as important as steam engines or internet or
Oh, for
uh,
sure.
I think. But yeah, the valuation on the companies were super crazy, and it's time for a pullback. And these pullbacks are super
I
healthy.
I have a buddy of mine that's in pharmaceuticals, right? And I know you did a little bit of that in a previous life. And he was talking about how crazy it is now that like they can want something and basically he doesn't even have to do like the hard work on it anymore. He basically can just ask his computer which elements he wants and which combinations and stuff, and it just basically spits it out for him, and then he just starts making it. But it's just incredible to see how it's already starting to revolutionize that
Yeah.
industry, and it's going to do it more and more throughout all of them, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Like productivity of everybody goes up. Like my developers, like now they're testing their codes with the AI. So with ChatGPT,
Hmm.
helps them to find the errors, bugs. The graphic designers, video editors, just the productivity of the people is going to go significantly higher. Doesn't necessarily replace everybody quickly, but I think my productivity has gone up significantly, like for writing books, newsletters, editing, and everything.
Yeah, I
All
think
right,
in
let's see.
time,
I'm still
everyone
long
gets worried
PLTR.
about that. They'll be good.
Yeah, I'm still long PLTR, guys. I want to see what's going to happen. So I'm going to go long NVIDIA again, 126. I'm going to put the stop loss below 125. So let's see if NVIDIA wants to get back to VWAP or not. It doesn't look like NVIDIA wants to go significantly lower. So I'm long, guys, NVIDIA. Um, let's see if you can actually, I'm long at 126, 126.25. PLTR is also going up towards 75. I'm still long on PLTR, guys. All right, PLTR, I'm starting partialing 74.82. I'm going to get my losses back on PLTR. I would be happy.
PLTR looks like they're trying to push it to 75, but they are bringing in some
Yeah.
pretty serious orders lower. So, but it doesn't look like they're like exhausted or done yet. So far
Yeah,
you're looking solid.
yeah,
So,
exactly.
but
So I partialed on that PLTR near 75. I added more on NVIDIA, guys, a little bit. Let's see if NVIDIA can go toward highs. My new average on NVIDIA is 126.30. Looks like NVIDIA wants to try again toward the high of the day. And I'm getting out completely PLTR, guys. Just made my losses back on it. The only position I have is NVIDIA. You can go NVDL2 as well. I'm sure it's going to be better capital efficient. And PLTR, I'm just I prefer to be
Here it
on
goes.
something that has a little more volatility. Yeah, Nvidia PLTR
It's
looks like
PLTR is
75.
gonna, if they're gonna push, it's gonna be here in just a second.
Yeah. I'm
market
out
maker,
of PLTR, guys, though. Yeah, so
market
let's see.
maker's
Nvidia
tearing a
looks
little.
like it wants to go higher, guys. But bigger size on Nvidia this time. Let's see if it can actually this time go. Jared is also long Nvidia. That's a good sign. Jared usually trades well. JG is halted. Yeah, it's pretty volatile. Aurora Mobile.
Holy.
All right,
I
Nvidia
don't know
is
if I've ever seen them be
127.50.
neutral.
Apple up 2%. Surprised. Market is surprising everybody, huh? Let's see if Nvidia can go to 128. Yeah, guys, some long, big size on it. Let's see if can go toward the 127 at 128. So maybe time to partial a little bit. This is the area that we rejected once. 5 minutes is still bullish. We're making higher and higher lows.
Order book still bullish.
Tesla is also breaking out. Yeah, so let's see. Let's see if Nvidia can actually crack this mini level 127.75. Yeah, PLTR is going up too. I'm all out of PLTR, but it looks like it's going back up. The market bounced back, Qs and SPY, so the deep buyers came in. Let's see NVDA. Adding a little bit more on NVDA here, see if we can actually crack it a high of the day. Yeah, Glenn, Apple is nice. I'm also long Apple through my AAPU position that I had as a swing trade. PLTR break of high of the day. Anyone long NVIDIA guys with me?
Oh yeah, we got lots of people in this room that have been long at Nvidia.
Yeah, be careful. Like I haven't partialed yet because I had a bad loss on it. I want to see actually get a better move on it to come out of it. But I wouldn't have a bad idea to partial. PLTR is going for the break of high of the day. I'm not going to trade PLTR. I think that ship has sailed. AMD is super garbage. Rigetti, yeah, the quantums are not doing great.
Nvidia's order book is bringing in quite a few orders to the downside. So I'm not saying sell it, but just keep an eye on it. If a big seller comes in and hits, this thing will move lower. But I'm not seeing selling yet. I'm just saying there's, the market maker seems to be tearing orders in.
Yeah, it looks like it looks like this 5 minute wants to close as a doji. 30 seconds to this candlestick on 5 minute. Definitely not super strong.
The level we rejected on NVIDIA on a shorter term chart would be floor 4. So for like NYSE, old school NYSE market makers, their algorithms will certainly trigger there. And we did hit it pretty well. So, be interesting to see the response here. But for those of you who are looking at my book map, you can see how we have a void of orders to the top side on the price right now, but we're tearing in lower in here. So it would seem right now they're trying to bring the price a little lower. How much lower, I'm not sure. I'm just talking about short term.
Yeah, so we'll see. Will they pulling back? Situation is not great on NVDA right now for my position. My average is 126.35, which is very close. I don't know if I should get stopped out. Maybe I should. Yeah, I'm getting out of my NVIDIA position, guys. I got to stop out for now. This candlestick is making new lower low. Let's see. I got to stop out. I got to stop down on NVIDIA, guys. We'll see. Honestly, it's a little bit crazy. As long as it stays above the VWAP, there's a chance for it to go higher, but I just couldn't partial properly. Still
So I
looks
think the
like
market in 9 minutes, we're going to have news coming out in the market, which will be new home sales. If for those of you who are looking for a good page for this kind of stuff, I highly recommend tradingterminal.com. There's actually a calendar tab on there, and it shows all the expected economic stuff that's going to be coming out over the past, over the next couple of, over the next couple of days, the weeks, stuff like that. So, one thing you'll see on there is we have new home sales that are coming out at 10 a.m. So some of the selling that you've seen this morning may also be in anticipation of what numbers are expected to come out during that new home sales. So, we will see what happens shortly.
Right, I'm back long on NVIDIA, guys, 127.29. But NVIDIA looks like it wants to hold the VWAP. Yeah, I'm back long on NVDA, although it's super choppy, but it looks like it's bounced back crazily about the VWAP. Like this candidacy at 951 is a squeeze. Let's see if NVIDIA wants to go for the high of the day. Yeah, PLTRs turn out to be super nice. If 120 will get to 128 or not. Tesla 405. Yeah, market seems that recovering very slowly. Let's see this position on NVDA 128 if you can get it. Like again, bounce back very nicely from the VWAP. Apple. Yeah, Apple is very nice. Yeah, Apple 228 is a level on Apple. Looks like he wants to go.
Right.
All right, so let's see what NVIDIA is doing. Microsoft also bounced back. Apple, Netflix. Tesla wants to go green. Interesting. Yeah, Tesla turned out to be super interesting. Tesla completely bounced back to green. I saw Excel would have been probably destroyed today. Yeah, 15% down. Yeah, I saw Excel. It's just all the semiconductors are under pressure now. All right, let's see if NVIDIA stays above the VWAP or not. It's the moment of truth on NVIDIA. It's been like half an hour. Trading super choppy.
NQ, like ES, QQQ, SPY, all the ETF stuff, we just kind of finished a pullback on relatively low volume to a fairly significant point. So this is like right at the lower end of our breakdown or our selling range, I guess you could say. If we move much higher than this, the market, both in some option stuff as well as otherwise, would need to kind of go into a fairly significant squeeze. But on the low volume, it didn't look like they were really looking for that. So this is going to be a really interesting inflection point. And then just keep in mind, we're rolling into news in 5 minutes. So as everyone is holding your positions and looking at things, keep that in mind.
We're still long Nvidia, guys, at around 126.90. So I think my stop loss is if you lose the VWAP. It's super choppy. It's getting on a 5-minute chart. We're getting like a really some of these wedges that either goes up or down. So you see on my screen. Since it's above the VWAP for half an hour, it's likely that it actually pops up to the VWAP. Right, here we go. Let's see. 127.50. This is the moment of truth. I'm gonna add a little bit more on it at 127.35 on NVDA. Yeah, it's volume just crazy on it. Like the volume is 174 million shares volume.
A lot
PLTR
of
grinding
buying.
up.
Still quite a bit of buying
SMCI.
coming into the market.
Yeah, SMCI bounced back too. So it looks like it's, yeah, it looks like the market is slowly grinding up. So Excel's, yeah, Apple pulling back. Q's made the new highs. QQQ 516, SPY 598. Yeah, so Smite, you're loading up Tesla below 300 for the earning. Like, be careful on the earnings. Like depending on your average, but Tesla on the earnings can be super volatile.
Oh,
NVDA is still undecisive. Yeah, so PLTR was the nice trade. I don't know why I got out of it. Yeah, Apple
I'm
pulled
hanging
back.
back. We got our news coming out here in a minute. So I'll have the futures up on my monitor here for anyone who wants to watch. The main thing I'm gonna look at is see how, empty this book gets. If the order book starts really clearing out, and you guys will see in the BBT room here, because they can see my screen. You'll see the order book will start dropping orders all over the place. And that's why these news events get so volatile, because there's algorithms that are built to manipulate and take advantage of these low books right at the open. So as soon as it comes back in, you'll see that big pop, right? Once that pop happens, don't get in a rush. Let it come back up. Let the algorithms offer you a better price to get in, and then see what happens on that pullback. If they start buying it, buy. If they start selling it, sell.
So what's the news on it? Is it just a home
New home
sales?
sales. Yeah.
Do you think that's going to impact the market a lot?
It can, especially because existing home sales, I recall, were a bit down. So I think that means there's a lot more inventory going into the market. If new home sales are also down, that means there's a lot more inventory into the market. High interest rates, excess of inventory. What could go wrong?
Right.
All right.
So
There's the
nothing crazy
news
is
out.
happening in the market right now. Like
Waiting for that response.
VDA still above the revap. Tesla's going to go green, I think. Tesla is pushing toward the green. There you go. I am sick of this NVIDIA for now. Amazon is going back up. Microsoft going back up. Apple is putting back. Still long NVIDIA, guys. Still haven't lost the hope on it. Let's see. Let's see what's going to do at the revap. Yeah, market didn't care, Alex. Honestly, something is telling me that this impact of this drop on the valuation of AI and tech companies are super strong. I don't know if it's home sales actually impact the market right now. The issue that we are having right now with the market is the valuation of a lot of these AI companies were outrageous because of the power of AI in the US. But now with this Deepseek, a lot of concern is that is the US really leading AI technology or not? So it's kind of people are digesting this situation. Let's see. NVIDIA is still above the VWAP, so I'm still holding on it and see if it stays above the VWAP. And again, I'm long guys around here at 126.80. Want to see actually get a breakout or not. Eventually, it's going to go one way or another. NVIDIA, I think, is going to either goes up today or goes down. It's not going to stay like this forever. Eventually, it's going to go one way or direction. Because the stocks that are gapping down or up significantly like this, eventually they break out one way or another.
So, hey, boss, unfortunately, it's 10 and I have an appointment I have to run to. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out. I don't know if there's any other fun mods maybe want to jump in here and run with you for a half hour. I don't know. Did Avi wake up yet? I mean, no, I'm kidding. Fun running Copilot with you for a little bit. And much love out there to the YouTube peeps. And, make sure you throw a thumbs up there for us. We appreciate you. So talk to you
Of
soon.
course. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Yeah. So, yeah, I really appreciate jumping in. Let's see what's going to happen. It was great losing it with you, Thor. Rigetti. Let's see what Rigetti is doing. Yeah, Rigetti also turned out to be super strong and nice. Second video wants to go downhill. Tesla didn't go to green. The NVDA is the moment of truth. Yeah, NVDA wants to go downhill. Yeah, big bid on 126. Looks like it wants to drop below 126. Yeah, guys, I'm gonna get out of it. I stopped out on NVDA, guys. I have no case to stay long in it. I had a very big loss today. Ugh. Yeah, welcome, James. You are part of the cool people right now. Yeah, Jared, I should have listened to you. Yeah, so let's see what's going to happen with NVIDIA. I'm not going to short it either because the setup for me for a short is not there. Like, it's, I don't have a trade book. Someone might say, hey, Andrew, you just, why don't you short it now? Because again, I don't have a trade book right now. This candlestick, this pattern is not a pattern that I'm, have a trade book on it for a short. If it was at the open, for like become a bearish engulfing, I would have shorted. But right now, it's just I got chopped up multiple times on it, and this is not an even extreme reversal. You know, the extreme reversal, you need a series of 15-minute low and then eventually a crossover of moving averages. But this one is not even an extreme reversal, so this is nothing except pure choppiness. Yeah, I don't have unfortunately trade book for short or long. PLTR was nice, but again, I got out of it too early. PLTR was a very, very nice trade, but as soon as I, covered my losses on it, I got out. Let's see, it's 10. I might get another opportunity on it or not, but I'll see. Moderna mRNA is. Yeah, Moderna is going up significantly. Fernando, yeah. No, we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. Like if Nvidia is continuing sell off, there might be some reversal opportunity on it. Yeah, but I'm having a very bad day so far. So let's see. AMD. Oh yeah, AMD is also super disgusting. Oh man, what a disgusting chart. Taiwan Semiconductor, JG. Yeah, TNT was nice opening range breakup. Tesla. Yeah, the problem with Tesla is the problem that I have with Tesla is these all these moving averages in 5 minutes and all these levels. And right now it's like almost flat on a day, so I don't want to really mess around with this pattern on 5 minute chart. TR is gonna go green. RGTI 10. What is 10? Yeah, cryptocurrency. Bitcoin is at 100,000. Doesn't have any momentum to go anywhere. NVDA is now breaking 125 very nicely. Let's see. Yeah, I cannot. This is what I did. Like, Kenna is asking a question. If you take a loss, would your other trade would be bigger than size? The answer to that is, for me, is yes, on a single stock, because not because I had a loss, but because sometimes the first or second trades you get a stopped out. The third opportunity is I have more confidence on that breakout, and usually I take the position because I have a better confidence. Because an NVDA, for example, in this case, I took 3 trades. The first trade I got a stopped out, you see on my chart. The second trade I also got a stopped out. As soon as it bounced back with such a heavy volume on NVIDIA, I said, okay, this is gonna, I had more confidence on the breakout this time. That's why I took a bigger size, and turned out to be a much bigger loss for me. So I said, okay, one time it didn't break down. Second time didn't break down. So okay, third time there's a better probability that now actually this time is going to break out, and it didn't. So, and that's the tricky part about it, because as you increase your size, your losses get bigger and bigger and bigger. So that was the situation for me. I think one of the biggest issues that I had was, my platform didn't work at the open. So this area, like 933, was the perfect area for me to get in. Like this area was usually my opening range breakout. This was my really cool place to enter, but I just didn't get. I just didn't get it on time, unfortunately. Yeah. So the situation is not great on our account right now. Oh, not a great situation here. Let's see. AVGO is also in Broadcom. Broadcom is also another very important semiconductor for AI chip company. This one is also gapping down significantly. Is right now at the gap of 211.69. Should be chat after the earning. But yeah, this one is also super choppy right now. Again, there were some trades right in the first 5 minutes, but now they're all super choppy. Meta, like Amazon recovered, Microsoft also recovered partially. Let's see what Meta doing. Yeah, Meta is super bullish. Yeah, Meta, it didn't seem that it impacted at all. Meta is going to go back to all-time high. Interesting. Yeah, I'm actually surprised Meta is back into all-time high. It's a very bullish situation on Meta. What is Zuckerberg turn around this company? Jesus. 2 years ago, Meta was below 100. Yeah, so what's your favorite trade, guys, so far? Who did trade what? Apple long was nice, yeah. Rigetti, Meta, AT&T was nice. VST, what is VST? Never heard of VST. Let's see what VST doing. VST, Vista Corp. This one's also gapping down. Rigetti, yeah, Rigetti turned out to be interesting too. Nice. Yeah, Rigetti was very nice. PLTR was very nice. I haven't lost hope yet on a trade, on making money, but we'll see a little bit, see if NVDA can give us some reversal opportunity. Yeah, PLTR is breaking out, but the problem with PLTR is I don't want to go long here. So the question is, PLTR area is a good long? The problem with that is the risk to reward is not really there for me. Is the 920 opportunity? Possibly, but yeah, it's gapping down 3.5%. I don't know if I want to trade it like a 920. Tesla defending, yeah, 400. Yeah, again, Tesla, I just don't like on a 5 minute, you're between S3, these two moving averages. Yeah, the location of the 5 minute, I don't like it. I prefer a stock that are more in the clear direction without any moving average. Like Nvidia is now looks like it's going down. Yeah, what is this NVNI is keep hitting the scanner? NVNI. Oh yeah, I got halted one time in a group. Yeah, it's a lower float. The float is 12 million shares. It's pretty low float. Mhm. NVDA, I'm gonna get something eventually on NVDA. I'm not gonna let this NVDA go. I'm gonna make my money back on it. See. NVDA is very likely that might actually go break the low of the day. SPY and Qs are kind of consolidating right now. It seems that IWM is flat. Let's see. NVDA is going toward the low of the day. On a daily chart, NVDA, the 200 moving average on NVDA could be an area that potentially you want to bounce back from, which is around right now 121.80. Yeah, buying the dip on NVDA is a little bit tricky because, I mean, considering that NVDA hasn't dropped that much, it's just from the pre-election area. What a volatile stock. What a volatile situation. Right, so NVIDIA looks like it wants to go low of the day. One area that you can eventually potentially get a bounce on it is low of the day. You might bounce from the low of the day on NVIDIA. And also 200 moving average is 120 on 122. So that's also another area that you can get a bounce on it. But definitely NVIDIA wants to go test the low of the day. Low of the day, usually very important level. You know, we have also two level in the pre-market. One of them is near low of the day. Another one is 122.85. VIX does nothing. I'm still blown away by Meta. That Meta is almost back at all-time high. Has anyone used this Deepseek? I haven't downloaded yet. Should we give all our passwords and financial information to Deepseek? Do you trust it? That doesn't seem like a very trustable situation. Honestly, I don't know if trusting anything comes from China. Joe. Yeah. Really? Downloading it grants all permission to read all of your Gmail? Ah, fucking hell. There's nothing in my Gmail that is that useful, but I'm sure there is a lot of potential for corporate espionage. Deepseek. I want to definitely trying it. All right, so NVIDIA broke the low of the day, guys. I think NVIDIA is getting super interesting. So NVIDIA broke the low of the day with heavy volume. Now NVIDIA is getting super interesting. I'm glad I got out of it. Yeah, NVIDIA is now collapsing. 122.85 is the next level that we had in the pre-market. We really don't have any nearby level. S4 is way up here. 122.85 is the low pre-market, which was a very important level. Yeah, it looks like really they're dumping it. Yeah, Deepseek was kind of a creepy name too. Like it's like not a fun name. Intel is relatively strong because Intel really is way behind this AI chips. The technology that Intel is working is on significantly uh, uh, old generations. And there's also another discussion that the AI, Intel might actually, you know, won't exist in a current form. They might actually break down the company. they're really behind of AI chips, and one of the reasons that when you look at the daily chart, Intel is, pretty much very beaten up. Right, NVDA is one of the really nicest one. AMD stalled through the range. NVDA 122.85 is a level. I think for me, the next trade would be in the next 30 minutes. Let's find the area that NVIDIA sees some sort of a strength and take a reversal on it. I don't want to short it either because it looks like a little bit extended. Lenny, what did you trade, Lenny? Yeah, Lenny shorted NVIDIA very nicely. Yeah, it was a very nice short, Lenny. Amazon, PLTR, NVIDIA, Apple still strong. VRT is hitting the scanner. I like to see what VRT is up to. Minus 26%. Yeah, this is yeah, this one is hitting the scanners. It was a nice short VRT. Soft. Yeah. Right, so let's see. NVIDIA looks like it wants to have another leg down. 122.85 was a level that bounced back in the pre-market. The AT&T bounced back from the revap. Yeah, is there AT&T at all-time high? No, it's not. It's back in 2018. It's the 52-week high, but it's not all-time high. All right, so we'll see the sun slowly coming out, and I am $100,000 less richer than yesterday. Oh, yeah, Ross. It's nine. It's a big loss for me. Yeah, I took big size on Nvidia, unfortunately. She's 100,000 is not that bad. It's a little bit more than 1% of my accounts, but still painful. But the moment that you guys, start looking at the percentage and start detaching yourself from these numbers, the sooner you become a trader. Like $100,000, you can say, "Wow, it's down payment for a house," but that's a wrong mentality to look at your P&L. You have to look at it as a percentage. Like for example, when the market is gapping down 2%, a lot of these hedge funds are down like hundreds of millions of dollars, but they don't cry over it and they don't look at it, oh, how much they could buy with 100 million, $200 million. They see it as a percentage and risk adjusted volatility return type of thing. So you have to look at it this way. That's why, I mean, in our community, we're not really too big into P&L. Like we're more into education and right trading. Because the P&L, usually the people who want to prove themselves as a trader, they just constantly share P&L and verify the statement and that type of thing. I think we are kind of past that point, like trading live, and I don't want to really prove myself to anybody. Uh, but I want to prove myself to you as a good trader, like someone who stick to his roles. And the people who followed us in our community, they see a system in everybody. They know that there is a system that we are trying to execute. Like, for example, my opening range breakouts, like Lenny traded opening range breakdown. Like if I was still long from 127 up to here, that means that I don't have a system. But everybody knows, everybody in our community is trading a system. When you're coming to Vancouver for our summit, we talk about the systems. Like Abby talks about the system, Paris, Thor, the system that they've developed. A lot of traders are out there that are really good traders, are famous, more followers than us. But I don't understand what's their system of trading. I never understood. Like I watched them a lot. I watch a lot of these recaps, but I don't get it. Still don't get it. Their criteria for entries and exits. So system is super important. How you actually find trade, how to execute trade, how to analyze your trade, how to that's again the topic of my next book, is just having a trade book, talking about system. Like for example, everybody in this community, like if you join us for this $1 intro that we have, if you go to our education center we have this 19-day trading system that our community has developed. 920 opening range breakout, rising level, mountain pass, S3 to S4 reversal, everything that you see in this community, previous day, red to green, previous day that Jared trades. So having a system in trading is super important. That's the consistency that comes from. It's having a system, which we call it trade book. That's what we help you in building in peak capital trading. It's how to build a system, how to execute a system. And I showed you a couple of examples, to people who follow my newsletters, the people who are, joining peak capital, they trade, randomly, and then their equity curve is random. But as soon as they stick to a system, they see going up. Like our funded accounts, we have Anthony who made $20,000 and he got paid from it. He was trading a system. He did the boot camp before with us. And it was very impressive how, he had early losses and recovered like a boss. It was not a random trade. It was completely following a system. That's how you turn a $10,000 account to a $30,000 account. All right, Apple is coming back. Market is slowly recovering. Qs and SPY. Yeah, Shala, I have AAPU right now. Again, it's a swing trade. You can see my screen, my position. I have 5,000 shares of AAPU as a swing. I was thinking of holding it until the earning, because Apple earning, I think, is on Thursday. Does anyone know when is the earning season, earning for Apple? I think it's Thursday. So I was thinking of holding it until then. And I'm actually pretty happy because this big drop didn't impact Apple. Apple seems that has turned into a fair value right now. Yeah, January 13, which is, Thursday. So Apple looks like it's holding around this 220 level. I might just sell it just before the earning. There's an earthquake, John, happening. Earthquake happening. Interesting. Yeah, Hannah, AAPU is the 2 times leverage of Apple. Like Apple, I wanted to, do a swing trade, buy the dip on this Apple. So I bought that when Apple hit 220. So I bought AAPU, which is the 2 times leverage long of Apple, similar to NVDL or TSLL. So these leverage ETFs are pretty interesting for short-term swing trade. Not great for holding them for long term. So Nvidia looks like it bounced. So Shala, 2 times long means it follows 2 times on the direction of the long. So essentially, you can short that NVDL as well. So if you short NVDA, that means that you're 2 times short. But they're usually the reverse of these also available. Like you can actually buy NVDS, which if you buy, it looks like you're shorting it, shorting NVDA. So they call them bear ETFs. These are bull ETFs or bear ETFs that they're designed to track the price with the reverse. Like for example, we have TQQQ, which is the 3 times leverage of Qs. And if you buy, you can short TQQ, or instead of shorting, if you don't want to short, a lot of people cannot short in their registered account or in their retirement account. You can buy SQQQ, which is the 3 times short. They're completely the opposite of each other. So, and these are the ETFs that are designed to attract retail traders to trade. That if they don't want to do sophisticated options trading, you can just do these kind of things. There's a lot of them. If you search ETF leverage products, there's so many. Like for everything, essentially, you have something. Like even for the meme situation, like for example, we have short of Jim Cramer or long of Jim Cramer. Like it can't be more meme than this. Like it's like trolling Jim Cramer. Like if Jim Cramer says like buy Meta, they're gonna go short. The ticker is SGIM LGIM JIM. Like they're long and short of Jim Cramer. So essentially, they made trolling into the financial market. So or they have SARK is the opposite of Cathie Wood. Whatever Cathie Wood does, they do the opposite. And they actually had a really interesting return SARK as SARK. So yeah, so these are, I think there's a company that it's very famous to do that. It's called Trader, TRADR. So they're, just like SGIM, short of LGIM. They might be actually out of business, huh? LGIM. Is it short of? Yeah, they might be delisted. LGIM and SGIM. I think they're out of, I think they got delisted. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like they're delisted. Like, so stupid. That was really stupid. Like, Apple is going up, guys. So 228 is interesting. Market is really recovering nicely. NVDA bounced back. SPY's bouncing back nicely. I know, yeah. Unfortunately, NVDA just reversed from an area that I didn't have any control over. Yeah, I was hoping that maybe we can get to 122.85, which is the low of the pre-market, but we never get there. And sometimes it's difficult to catch these reversals. Like, let's see, 5 minutes is getting some crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna get a long now on NVDA 124.25. Let's see if we can. I'm getting a long on NVDA now. Like now the 5 minute is higher, high, and higher low. I'm gonna put a stop loss below 123.85, 81. So this pullback, let's see if this pullback can move it toward oh, there you go. Nice. So I'm long, guys, on NVDA. Let's see NVDA can hold this move up. Adding a little bit more on it. Yeah, like what happened with the Trump meme coin? What is it trading at now? Can we see these meme coins in DAS? Do they have the tickers on DAS, like these meme coins? Um, I don't think we can see them in DAS. They don't. I don't think they have the data. Trading at 27, huh? 27.40. It went up to almost 100. I don't know. Was it like that? I don't think we can actually see them. Can we, like Trump? Yeah, I don't think we can see them on DAS. Yeah, you can see the Bitcoin. Bitcoin is hash. What is the hashtag? Hash BTC. So Apple intraday. Yeah, Apple is intraday. It's turned out to be interesting opening range breakout now. I don't know if I actually want to trade it honestly. Like it's now kind of looks like a little bit extending. It was very interesting. Is grinding up. Where yeah, oh, okay, I can see very nicely the 7 days. All right, NVDA. Yeah, it's all right. NVIDIA looks like it's wants to go back down. My stop loss is 123.81. Let's see if we can actually hold this. Like 30 seconds to this candlestick. Let's see if we can actually hold the higher high and higher low. So what I'm hoping on the NVIDIA is we can actually maintain a higher high, higher lows in 5 minutes. That's a good question, Abiola. Maybe Brendan can actually create that video for us. I think we do have it, but if not, so this candlestick closed red on NVDA. Yeah, it looks like NVDA doesn't have much momentum to go up. It's making highs. Should we sell some of our AAPU? Tesla is going to go green. Tesla looks like it wants to go green. I'm still long NVDA, guys. See what's going to happen with NVDA. Maybe I'll get out of it at the break even now. NVDA generally not a great moment. Let's see what my schedule is today. Do I have a meeting at 8? I do have a meeting with someone apparently. I don't know who that person is. Hey, come on, NVDA. Do something. NVDA, let's see, wants to go higher or not. I have a chance to get out of it at the break even now. This is the moment that. Yes, exactly. Salim, exactly. Yes, that's my stop loss is just below this candlestick. If you make the new low here in this candlestick, then I'm getting out of it. Honestly, I'm actually thinking of getting out of NVDA now at the break-even point because I'm not gonna make the profit today. I had a very bad loss. I don't think NVDA has the momentum to go much higher, honestly. So I might as well just get out of it. Getting out of my NVDA position, guys. At least most of it. It's possible that goes up, but just, yeah, I'm getting out of it at the break even, guys. It's not a great trade. It's like a desperate trade that I'm doing. And I don't like to trade desperately. I like to trade when so hard to borrow can is a series of stocks like NVDA, Apple. You always have a stocks that you can borrow and short. There are series of stocks that are they don't have typical inventories. They're usually the low float stocks. And the low float stocks, they call them hard to borrow. Like they're usually like 5 million, 10 million float or something like that. And so you have to go, if you want to short those stocks, you have to go, with the brokers that are allowing you hard to borrow. So allowing you a short, it's called short locate. The interactive brokers doesn't have it. So the DAS for interactive brokers also doesn't have it. So the hard to locate ones, what you do is you go and ask requests like I want to short 1,000 shares of, for example, I don't know, in this case today, JG was like that. And the broker will try to find it from the traders that are trading it, like the traders that are already long. And they charge you not only a commission, but also a very, very expensive borrow fee or locate fee. So you borrow it from the broker and then you can short it. The risk for the broker is those stocks are super volatile and if they drop significantly, then you make a lot of profit, and then the broker has to cover the loss. Lightspeed has it. Lightspeed is one of the companies. Like Cobra Trading has it. Speed Trader has it. There are some brokers that Centerpoint is also has it. There are some brokers that are specialized for this, hard to locate. But I personally recommend not messing around with these stocks. They're a recipe for disaster. There are some communities that they're focused on that. Like Investor Underground is one of them. The only thing that they do over there is pretty much short these penny stocks all the time. So if you want to trade like that kind of things, you have to join those communities to learn from them and trade with the brokers that they do. But they're pretty pricey, like very, very expensive. Like for example, if you pay like, so I don't know, like half a cent commission in Interactive Brokers, and sometimes you have to pay 5 cents per share just for the locate fee. That's a lot. So yeah, it's super expensive. I personally don't think that. I think what I found is I've tried all of these. I've tried penny stocks. I've tried these shorts and stuff. I've tried all of them, and I realized that for consistent trading, like for how to day trade for a living, you need to learn trading indexes, trading blue chip stocks like Nvidia, Tesla, Apple. Even though they are less attractive at the beginning for the people who have little money, but they're more consistent. You can get more consistency from them. The penny stocks are great. Right now, you go to other communities, they're all doing penny stocks and they're making a lot of money, but consistency is very important. And very difficult to catch the consistency. And, in the past, like 10 years ago, small trader accounts, capital money accounts was an issue. But now, just with our funded account, if you don't have any money, if you have only $1,000, just go to our funded account. It's a really good test. You probably lose it at the beginning, and most likely you lose it. But it's a good test for you. It's better, I think. You give $50,000 chance of trading solidly rather than in one single trade in penny stock and blow it up. Half of it is going to go to commission and platform. So I think now with these funded accounts and all of these prop firms and that kind of thing, you have a better chance of testing your skills, which is at the beginning. Yeah, so see, Cody is sharing the short look at cost. So see, they're pretty expensive. Yeah, that's good. That's good, Paul. Again, the environment of this market has changed significantly. So a lot of people are attracted to penny stocks because they don't have money, and they see Ross, for example, turn $500 to $5 million or $10 million, and this is attractive for them. But it's very difficult, very, very difficult. Getting consistency is very, very difficult. I personally think that if people don't have money, they just invest that money into the education, learn to become a trader. When you're actually good, eventually you find money. I mean, you're not going to stay broke for the rest of your life. Eventually, one day or another, you can do that. Or just go through the funded account. Like go through a funded account and make, like I spend like a lot of money paying profit. Like I just paid Anthony $15,000 and he paid like $900, $999 for that account. Yeah, I mean, again, this trading education can be very misleading, especially for new traders. But the fact that you have little capital shouldn't be a reason for you to go toward these penny stocks or short selling these penny stocks, because there are better ways you can handle it. And so I think I'm gonna, accept the day. Like Nvidia also didn't give us a very clear reversal. It did reverse, but out of nowhere. It was very difficult to catch this reversal. Yeah, so for the funded account, all the information is our website. So I highly recommend you guys go through funded account one time. I know most of you are going to lose money, but you actually know why you lose money. You get a really good taste of how the situation is. And thanks, Gabby, for sharing that. Yeah. So if you cash out from the funded account, how is it reported for the taxes? I don't know. Depending on where you are, I'll send it through your PayPal to you. And depending on how you report it, you can report it as a income, as a gift. I don't know, as a whatever that you think you should do. But essentially, your taxes, like everywhere in the world, is the net profit. Like, all the money that you're spending on the educations and stuff, the profit is going to be half of that. So the net of that. So I don't think a lot of people need to be worried about the taxes at the beginning, because you're probably going negative unless you have a corporation on that and you collect all these losses, which you should. Like in 2022, when I had this big loss, I got a $500,000 check back from government for my taxes. That was nice. Yeah, thanks, Gigi. I appreciate that. So, Gigi, are you now trading on are you trading full time now for a living? Nice, amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. Although I'm also, the people who know me, I'm not really big fan of trading for a living full time. It's just too much pressure, too much stress, too much anxiety. I prefer to have another life, anything. Nice, great setup. I love that. Amr, thanks for sharing that. Oh, I love that. What a great picture. I love that picture. Amazing. Amr, I see the TEDx conference on your things. Are you coming to the TEDx? TEDx, or for the TED conference for 3 days, not only the TEDx, just the whole TED conference. That's a nice setup. Thanks for sharing that. Um, all right, we have Abby is coming joining us at 11. He's a great option trader. How was your trading, Abby? Why do I have a bindi? What is a bindi? This one? This one is called a bindi? I don't know. It just came out of nowhere by now. This one is a bindi. It's called bindi. Oh, this one. No, no, no. This one is, I don't know. For some reason, just popped out. Tesla and green. Yeah, amazing. Tesla and green. Tesla's green. Yeah, market recovered very nicely. So that was kind of an overreaction that we saw. Kind of an overreaction. Yeah, NVDA is still in a very environment that I really don't want to touch it. So I had a very big loss, guys, on NVDA. Still alive. SPY is down 1.5%. Q's 2.5%.
Yeah, it's been a rough day.
It is, yeah. A rough day. How are you, Carlos?
Good, man. Rough one today on Nvidia to start the week, but other than that, doing well. And again, there's so much going on this week. Can't wait for we got earnings, we got uh, inflation data. So we'll see. It's gonna be a roller coaster, man. Hopefully we get better days tomorrow though than today.
Yeah. So, Mahindra, our community is mostly focused on day trading. We have a little bit of resources on swing trading on trading terminal, but no, unfortunately, we are mostly focused on day trading. That's how this community started. And I'm personally not a great swing trader. Brian does a lot of swing trading. So, what you can start, you can go through the intro courses, intro package, and then we actually um, walk you through all of our education for day trading. So is Avi joining us, Carlos?
No, Avi's off today, so it'll be me and Phil. Phil's gonna join me, so Phil will be covering for Avi today. So yeah, we'll take it right through 12, and then we'll see everybody tomorrow morning. So Phil's gonna just text me. He's gonna be joining shortly. So. Commented on YouTube, Deepseek released right before Chinese New Year. Yeah, timing was interesting. This company's been out for about a year or so. There's some Bloomberg analysts that have done quite some reports on this that I want to dive into just to know more about it. But it's been out for a while. But the timing is interesting, going into 4 of the top 7 companies' earnings this week, right? So timing is just very, very interesting on how it affects the market, right? So we'll see. Nvidia's not liking it though, that's for sure. They're not loving this. Only one way to eat elephants, is James Wick. James, you're from YouTube, right? Just came over. Welcome, man. I think that's.
Yeah, James signed up today. I saw him. Yeah.
Ah, look at you already taking advantage. Love it, love it, love it. Look forward to seeing you on the onboarding class tonight at 8 p.m. Man, come hang out with us. Bring your questions. It'll be a lot of fun. So 8 p.m. Eastern time onboarding class tonight. So look forward to seeing you there, man. All right, guys, so this is what the schedule looks like for this week. You can get this at tradingterminal.com, I believe, as well. So if you look on here, you can see some of the earnings we have coming up for tonight and also the rest of the week. Even tomorrow, we got Boeing, we got Starbucks, GM. It's a big, big week, guys. There's a lot going on. JetBlue on the airlines. And then Wednesday, obviously, Tesla, Meta, and Microsoft. But we also have IBM and some other ones here. Thursday we got Apple. Intel will be interesting to see how they're doing. These guys have not been doing well. And then Friday you don't get much. You got ExxonMobil and some of the oil companies. We'll see how they're doing. We'll have those in the morning. So, and also I want to remind you guys, we're going to have the earnings for Tesla, Meta, and Microsoft live right here on YouTube. So we're going to come on around 3:30 and go over those earnings, and also for Apple as well. So we'll be live Wednesday afternoon and Thursday afternoon for that. And who knows, we might even be live Wednesday middle of the day for the Jerome Powell. So Jerome Powell is going to be releasing his day. We might do that too. If you guys like that, let us know. Keep hitting the thumbs up. it tells us whether these things are something you want to see going forward. So it should be a lot of fun. All right, let's see here. All right, perfect. There it is. Got my camera. All right, guys. So again, let me hop off from Phil. I see you in the chat. So you got to join me through the link I sent you and turn off the mic. I'm actually going to hop off the chat here. So we're only going to be on YouTube. And we're going to leave Thor do his thing because this is his slot. So if you could hear me, head over to the link I sent you through vMix and disconnect from the chat room. So if you got any issues, text me on Telegram and I'll help you out. And let me disconnect from the chat. And in the chat room, Thor's going to do his thing and we're going to continue here on YouTube. So see you guys later in the chat. All right, so disconnect from the chat room. You guys on YouTube should still be able to hear me and see me perfectly fine. All right, guys. So quick recap. My watch list today, we had Tesla. Let's take a look how that did. You can see it there. I'm sorry, AT&T. So T had a great start to the day. That was a good one. I wish I was watching this instead of Meta. Let me get you the right thing here. So AT&T. I'm sorry, instead of Nvidia. So here is here you go. Here is AT&T. So AT&T, great start, man. Beautiful 1 minute opening range breakout, and then if you look at the smaller time frame, it just took off, right? So it did very well. Here it is. Look at how beautiful that was. We had Tesla, which actually rough start, but slowly just kept grinding higher and higher. So again, really nice there. Dip right back to the VWAP in the later parts of the morning, and then right back up to the high of the day. So great start. And then Nvidia was the one that kind of made us struggle today. Like it had the volume, had the momentum, and then it just died down and became complete short. So I was already out of the game in the first like 10 minutes or so. I had a couple of stop outs and just didn't want to chase it anymore. And then you can see here, man, just the drop and making a new low right now as well. So again, we'll talk more about this Deepseek thing. If you haven't heard about it yet, we'll talk more about it throughout the show. I see Phil is on as well. Good afternoon, Phil. How you doing? Or good morning. I hear you very light. Hold on, let me put the volume up. Say something. Yeah, you're coming in extremely light. Even your volume is coming in extremely light. So check your gain. But yeah, I hear you very low. All right, we'll wait for Phil to check that out.
How about now?
Still very low, man. I got you all the way up on my end, but still coming in pretty low. Video's good, camera's good. I see that. Just gotta make sure that the mic is picking up your headset volume there. All right, as we check that out, let's see here. JG. Oh, looks like Mike got you there now. Go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Nah, it sounded like it was gonna get loud, but then still very low right now.
Okay, yeah, 1 second.
All right, keep trying there, man. We got some time. And then JG here has been insanely active. This is part of that deep. Oh, I'm hearing myself. Oh, there we go. I got you now. Let me see.
Can you hear me now?
Perfectly. Perfect.
Awesome.
Let me bring it back
All
down.
right.
Get you all the way up here. So I'll bring it back to a normal level.
Yeah.
All right. There. Perfect.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool.
All right, man. Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you doing, Carlos?
Doing good, man. Rough start to the Monday. Hopefully you had a better start to this Monday. How was your morning so far?
Yeah. So it took a little while. I had 2 early stop outs, one on a Apple long, but now I've gotten 2 trades riding Nvidia down. And yeah, I mean, we've got Nvidia all morning had, a lot of orders below price on Bookmap. So I was, keeping a keen eye for a short entry, and right around 10:04, when it lost VWAP after consolidating for a bit, I jumped in short, got a nice trade, and now I've got, my stops are set for break even on my remaining positions. But and yeah, I'm looking to maybe ride this one down for what could be a big dump here on Nvidia. We've got orders
Yeah.
structured, down to, big order at 120, although we're at, I believe, the 200-day moving average on the daily chart right now. So we see what happens here. But yeah, very good morning for me so far.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Anybody on short Nvidia right now is enjoying this. I mean, the weakness is very, very obvious here. Breaking a new low. So we broke this level. We had this 122.77, and where did we get that from? Let's see here. Off the daily, that is yeah, that's the daily going back to around October. Looks like September time frame. So you got a lot of days slamming into that, and we're just breaking that now. So definitely seeing some weakness there. This news, man, this news is shaking things up on the AI world.
Yeah. Whereas I'm doing good on Nvidia short right now. My long-term Nvidia portfolio isn't doing as well. So I got to make these short trades on it to get back back what I'm losing in my long term. But no, it's not a big deal. I don't have a huge position in it, but I was liking the look of it on a weekly chart, and we have earnings are coming up on it. I think in another month or so. So I was positioned, just a small position, so it's not a big deal. But yeah, that was some major news out of China. So yeah, it's definitely shaking things
up, man. And one of the things I see though too, because again, we don't know much about this yet, and I see some of the comments over on YouTube. Deepseek will be like AliExpress, or I don't know what AliExpress is, but I know Temu, a piece of plastic. I get that, man. But here's the thing that comes out of this, right? Again, all analysts have been saying this. Nvidia and this AI movement it's the real deal, but it's overvalued. That's the way you keep hearing, right? We think it's overvalued. Like, hey, Nvidia at 150, we think it's overvalued. Like, that keeps being thrown out there. So now you have a company coming out and saying, hey, you know what? We could get similar results at a fraction of the cost. That starts raising eyebrows. Not saying that we're all going to run to this new company, but okay, Nvidia, can you make this cheaper? Can you make this at a and maybe not the fraction, but can you make it at a lower cost than you originally put out there, right? But there's so much to it too, right? Because this company, it's like anything, right? Like even, I'll give you one small example. I'm running my computer here. I'm running the live stream. I'm running all kinds of software. When I run this without going live by myself, the numbers are beautiful. I mean, the numbers are all green. The minute I hit the live button and now I'm actually getting the volume and using data and getting over the internet, the numbers are not as great anymore. So when this thing starts getting volume and we start pushing numbers and we start getting millions of users, are you going to perform at a very high level like NVIDIA is expected to perform, right? There's so many unanswered questions that we're not going to know how the long-term effect is going to be on this. So,
right. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, now we're seeing NVIDIA continuing to push down. It tried to hold around the long-term S4, which was about 123.45 or so, 120, called 123.50. And, we kind of bounced from there a little bit, came back up, retested that. And then, man, this selling volume has just come back in. So, who knows where this could go to, breaking that huge long-term concern on, NVIDIA's been consolidating in a range on the daily chart for, since October, really, and so it's a number of months now, and we are, I'm not sure, I've been on here before talking about my trading style. I'm a consolidation break trader, and, not a consolidation break today on NVIDIA. Longs are not happy right now.
Yeah, you're not happy in this situation. And then the flip side, you see companies like Apple and Meta, right? Let's talk about the good stuff today. Look at Apple Look at the
Yep.
daily they're putting in here, man. They're up 2.6 right now, covering the gap down they had about a week ago. It looks like exactly about a week ago, and they're crushing it here. Another one that's doing awesome as well is Meta. Look at Meta as well. Look at the daily on Meta. I mean, this
Yeah.
thing is just on fire, breaking through all-time highs here. Um, Wow, what a move! They're up 1.7 right now, and they're just cranking. So there's all kinds of stuff. You want to play short? There's opportunities for short traders. There's opportunity for long traders. There's a little bit of everything for everyone. Today I just picked the wrong side of things, right, on Nvidia, but yeah, it's there's opportunities out there.
Yeah, well, it's tough, with a gap down like that. It depends on, what the bigger players are thinking here. And, it only appeared after a number of, minutes. I mean, Nvidia was a long, at the beginning of the day. So you could have played that long. I know members in our chat room did, and some people had some great trades just on that, initial short, short squeeze profit taking that you had in the first couple minutes of it. But then we consolidated and started to show signs of weakness. So it's just one of those things where with a gap down like that on such a strong stock, you can expect to push up, and then you just kind of have to keep tabs on price action after that. I was watching it, didn't, had a little bit of FOMO playing that push up because we went, Nvidia opened at 124.50, and we got a push up. We got a $4 move up in the first 3-4 minutes of the day. So I was having a little FOMO on the long, but then I just said, you know what, I'm gonna hold off a little bit. I'm gonna watch this, and I had a trend line drawn from the open price up until about 10 o'clock or so. And when we started to break that trend line to the downside with some volume coming in and lost VWAP, that's when I took my entry. But again, the day trading so interesting because even on a day like today with Nvidia, you can make money on it long, you can make money on it short. It's just it just depends on the time frame that you're looking at and your strategy.
Yeah, yep, 100%. These guys, when is their earnings? Their earnings is probably a few. I think it's end of February or something like that. I gotta check.
Yeah. I'll look it up here. I think it is
Yeah.
though.
While you look that up, I always love the timing of this. I mean, if we look at let's take a look at what's coming up this week, right? I know I mentioned a bit earlier, but this week we got some big guys reporting. So Wednesday and Thursday, again, I want to remind you guys we'll be live here. I'm gonna set up those links today. So I'll share them with you tomorrow in the pre-market show at 8:30, so you can subscribe, because we love to have you back in the afternoon and just kind of go over this earnings. We'll talk about the expected moves. Jared's going to come on and talk about that. We'll talk about how they did last quarter, how they're doing for the year, just kind of a little bit of background of the company. And then we'll go into earnings, watch the reaction live and see how well these companies are going to do. So looking forward to, obviously, all of these top four. But there's some other ones too, like Boeing. I love trading Boeing when it's in play. That's going to be tomorrow. And we got Starbucks after hours as well. That's gonna be fun. That situation with Colombia has been taken care of with the coffee beans. That was not gonna be good, man. So I'm glad that's resolved. Yeah. Don't want to get into politics. When politics get spicy, but man, I watch everything. It's just take it all in and just kind of just make assessments of what the heck could happen here. But glad that's resolved. So that I'm sure Starbucks is very happy that situation is resolved.
Yeah, same here. Me too, because when we were down in Colombia for for the Bear Bull Traders retreat, we were the coffee down there was absolutely incredible. It's no cliche that Colombia has amazing coffee, and there were these two guys running a business. I guess they it was one of their grandfathers. There had been a coffee farm in their family for like 3-4 generations, and these younger guys had set up this cart and they take it to events, and Bear Bull Traders hired them obviously to just provide coffee to the guests, and all the traders there on the retreat every morning. So it was funny. I was talking to the guys and saying, by the third or fourth day, I was like, so you guys know who drinks the most coffee out of this whole bunch? And and they're like, well, they're like, there's sort of a tie for the top 5. And I was like, am I in the top 5? And they go, oh yeah, you're top 3. so
They
so
had you pinned.
they knew me for sure. Yeah. It was just so good. I ended up buying a bunch of bags from them. Super nice folks too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad the coffee situation in Colombia is okay.
Yeah, man. We buy a lot of Colombian coffee here. We got the little pots, whatever, and we don't need that
Yep.
stuff going any higher than what it is right now.
No,
So that's good. But
definitely
Starbucks is a lot of fun, man. When it's to trade in earnings, I'm looking forward to it. They trade very well. So I had good luck every time in earnings. I trade the stock and it does well for me. So looking forward to that. And the daily has been, you can see here, very, very active as well. So, all right. So right now, as far as positions, man, you are in Nvidia at the moment. You're Nvidia short.
I am, yeah. I've taken 2 full-size trades on Nvidia. So like I said, today's been a great day for me. I'm up about 10R on these Nvidia trades so far, and I'm leaving 20% of one of my positions just to kind of, if we do get just an extended sell-off, I'm just going to leave that on. At this point, I've more than made my day, more than made my, daily goal. And yeah, I'm just going to leave it on. I have my stops set on these contracts at break even. So, if it goes against me and Nvidia rockets back up, I can't lose anything. And, but if we keep getting, an aggressive sell-off down to, I'm looking at my book map, and we do still have large order at 120. We may or may not make it there. It's hard to say, but I am holding on to these last little 2. That's what's nice about looking at your profiting and partialing strategies. For me, I like to see about a 5R move, which is pretty common in the options world. And when you have that, when you get that 5R move, my strategy is to take about 80% of my position off, leaving 20% on for a further move. But once I hit that 80% partial, that's a great trade for me. That's definitely a winning trade, and then the rest is just kind of gravy at that point. So yeah, that's where I'm at with Nvidia right now, and just going to leave these last couple contracts to trail down. And just for the folks on YouTube who aren't super familiar with options, I have puts in Nvidia right now, which means the further the stock moves down, the more profit I have.
Yep. I think you got a couple of webinars too on that strategy in our education center. So if you guys are interested, over at bearwithtraders.com, you can see more about this trading style and what Phil's doing there. So definitely take advantage of that. All right, let's get to some questions. See what kind of questions you guys have over on YouTube. We can answer some of those, so just throw them out there, and we can give you some responses. Can you show your trades on YouTube? Well, Phil's not sharing his screen right now. Only I have my screen at the moment, so you can't see his. And usually what we do is we don't share the actual trades unless it's with the chat and with the members. So like, for example, you see Andrew, right? He shares it. Once in a while, I'll switch. I'm the one running the screens in the back, though. I'll switch it over so you guys can see a little bit when he's explaining something. But we usually like to keep the actual trades for the members. You brought something up that's interesting, Mel. As we wait for questions, you talked about the parceling, right? The parceling strategy and the profit-taking strategy. And it's funny because as we work with a lot of our newer traders, especially in peak capital going through boot camp, that is one thing that a lot of traders, they don't get stuck on, but they spend a lot of time in. Okay, once they start getting that good entry and identifying the strategy, how am I going to manage my trade going forward? Am I going to wait to 1R? Am I going to wait to 2Rs? And I'm going to partial 10%, 20%. Am I going to take 50% of 2R and leave the rest? There's so many different avenues. So for you said you partial a little bit. What's kind of like your parceling strategy when it comes to when you're in a winning trade?
Yeah. So for for a full size trade for me, I'm taking a chunk of options contracts, whether they're calls for a long position or puts for a short position, and I'm buying these contracts, which in the options world, you can have options buyers and options sellers. And things get definitely a bit more complicated on the option selling side. There's quite a bit more risk involved potentially there as well. So basically, all I'm doing is I am purchasing contracts that are going to increase in value based on which way the stock underlying stock price moves. And when it comes to my partialing strategy, this was something that I kind of have tweaked over time, and definitely tweaked after speaking with Avi in Colombia. Just had a couple really good conversations with him about options. As you all know, if you've been following this channel for a bit, Avi is a options trader primarily, and yeah, and so he, based on our conversation, he kind of convinced me, like, to let my winners run a bit more than I had been. Before I was going out at about 4 times my risk. So, for those kind of newer to trading here, we talk about R values. And, what R means is how much you're risking per trade. So for example, if I'm looking at a trade, getting into a trade and things are setting up correctly, I have my hotkeys set up in DOS to get me in, and let's just pick an arbitrary number. I might tell myself, hey, I'm willing to risk $100 on this trade. You can customize hotkeys so that take an entry, and it immediately sets a stop loss order at what is $100 loss for if the position goes against you. This is super, super critical when you're trading, because it's so easy for a stock to just squeeze against you very quickly. And if it catches you off guard, especially, you can just be kind of paralyzed in that moment, because you're looking at a larger loss than you anticipated. You can get caught like a deer in the headlights. So it's super important, I would say, to enter any trade with a stop loss in place, and that value that you've set for yourself, to lose per trade, that you've said, that you've thought about beforehand, and that you have said, okay, this is an allowable loss for me. That's your R value. So I just wanted to clarify that before I move on here. So, before I went to Colombia and spoke with Avi, I was going out at about 4 times my R value, which means, in this hypothetical situation, if my R was $100 loss per trade, that means that I was taking off my entire position at about a $400 profit. When I saw that, I would just go all out, and that works. That's an acceptable. That means that for every winning trade you have, you're making up for 4 losing trades. So that was a good first step in towards profitability for me. Now, after speaking with Avi, and something you'll hear a lot in the trading world at large is, if you're in a winning trade, you want to get as much out of that winning trade as you possibly can. And that really is what kickstarts, your profitability into hyperdrive, if you're able to do that. So I started to structure, my profiting, a bit more in that direction. So basically, what I will do now is I will wait until my trade gets to 5 times what I was willing to lose on the trade, and I have a order already set. I set both my stop loss and my profit orders, um, with my entry. So everything is already set in place when I take an entry on a stock. So I have it set so that when I get to 5 times what my stop loss would have been, I go 80% out. Now that's a big chunk. That's a big chunk of change for the size that I'm trading. And then I keep 20% of the position on, and I have um, two additional profiting brackets up above, that 5R. So I sell an additional 10% of my position, at 7R profit. And then when I'm at 10R profit, compared to my original entry, I sell the final remaining amount of my position. So, switching to that style, that gets me about 6.2R out of a winning trade, every time I'm right, in the market. And that has just done wonders for my, profitability at large. Because what I find is that if I was getting to 4R profit on a trade, in a lot of cases, even though I was going fully out there, in a lot of cases, that stock would keep running. So, this new partialing strategy allows me to stay in and get more of that move, which, in the long run just adds significantly to your P&L.
That
So,
definitely
thanks for
makes
the
a
question,
difference. Yeah.
Carlos.
No, yeah, definitely makes a difference, and everybody's got to try what's what works for them, right? You're gonna try a couple of things, and some might be better for you than others, but be open to letting the winners run, because I think that's obviously gonna give you the bigger outcome. Speaking of winners running, man, look at Nvidia. Someone asked in chat, what is the next level on Nvidia? I have 120. But the way this is dropping, it's just might blow right through that. I mean, and here's how I got that 120. I want to show you on the daily. I just want to go back over here. If you look between September and October, I'm going to draw a line, make it a little bit cleaner. You got a couple of days showing some resistance, more resistance here, a little bit of support, not much, but that 120 on the dot, you've seen some action in the past in September and October. So, again, the weakness continues here, man. This is... regardless of what you think about Deepseek, whether it's real, it's happening, or whatever, it is shaking up Nvidia, and they have to deal with this now, because it's something they did not have to deal with just a couple hours ago.
No, it's amazing how just how one piece of news like that, one critical piece of news in a sector can mix things up. And I mean, we are watching just billions of dollars being erased from Nvidia's market cap right now. And you're right, 120.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we busted through one. I just wanted to talk briefly. Huge volume spike here at 120, which is interesting. So yeah, I just took a little bit of a partial, but I mean, with the way we pushed through that 200-day moving average on Nvidia, and then retested it, and then kept on heading south. Yeah, there's no telling where this could go today.
Yeah, if you're looking for a reversal trade here, guys, remember Apple? Was it last week? Apple just kept going. Like there was no stopping Apple. It just kept going, and we were looking for reversals. I think was it Andrew? I forgot which moderator. Either Andrew or another moderator was trying to get a reversal on it. We got stopped out once or twice, and it was just not turning around. It just kept going. Right, it was very, very weak. This reminds me of a little bit of that right now, right? Where the weakness is here, the news is against it. Yes, you're getting a couple of pullbacks, but be careful on a reversal here into is ready. It's still early. It's only 11:30. We got a couple more hours to go. Anything can happen. For all we know, this can end up not, I don't think green, but it can end up a little better than what it is today. So just be mindful of that. Be patient with it. Want to take a look at some questions here over on YouTube. What is the maximum number of losing trades you recommend per day? I don't recommend a number. I recommend a max loss dollar amount, right? So how much you're not willing to lose per day. So for example, if you wanted, it could be $300, it could be $100, depending what your risk tolerance is and where you at as far as your level of experience. So I recommend a number that you're not going to go past off, and then that number should allow you to trade a couple of times. Like it can be $100, and then you take a trade for $100, and that's it. You're done for the day. It's got to be a number that allows you to take a couple of trades, take a couple of losses. I personally, what I do have is I do have a restriction on how many number of trades I can take on an individual trade. So for example, if I keep trying Nvidia long, after the third time I stop out, I just stop trading anymore. The best setup could show up again, but I don't take it anymore because I want to stop over trading, and I don't want to get stuck in a situation where I'm just not reading the bigger picture, right? So on an individual ticker, if I get stopped out 3 times, I won't touch it again for the rest of the day. Doesn't necessarily mean I have to stop trading, because sometimes even after those 3 losses, it could really be a small amount if I'm stopping out at break even, right? So it doesn't mean I'm going full blown, full stop and losing a whole bunch of money, but it's just, it really means I'm not in sync with the price action of what's going on. I need to stop touching that stock. So, but I think a total amount is much better. Phil, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, you know, and they kind of go hand in hand. You know, there's you know, if you have a fixed R, you know, per trade, then you know you're going to be at, you know, your 3 Rs is a certain amount of a loss per you that's acceptable for the day. So yeah, for me, it's right around 3R. I give myself per day. It's a little bit over that to make up for like a little bit of slippage, you know, and some spreadiness in the options world. But yeah, you know, I give myself about 3R. And to your point, Carlos, about the, you know, sorry if I'm distracted here. I'm still just watching Nvidia just absolutely tank.
Yeah.
The but you know, to your point about trading like one particular stock a certain amount of time, it's, you know, I have a rule there too, where, you know, if I have tried an entry on a stock twice in a row and gotten stopped out, I move on. You know, I will give that stock its time. You know, it's showing me like, hey, you know, I'm not behaving the way, you know, I would expect it to. So yeah, I also have that, because you can get so dialed in on something, and you can have a bias on a stock. It's very easy to have a bias going into, you know, a trading session, and your bias can be wrong, but you can continually, you know, take trades in the direction of your bias when in the reality of the price action of that stock could be totally different. So yeah, I have a similar rule there. But just to answer that question fully, you know, I have my max loss per day is about 3 losing trades is what I give myself. And I've found that, you know, if I take 3 losing trades in a row, that chances of me, you know, having, you know, doing well, that it's like something's
Right.
off with my psychology. So I'm better served just stepping away from the market at that point.
Yeah, I agree 100%, man. All right, so this is happening. This is actual news. I was reading some of the comments over on YouTube, and you guys said that Deepseek is being hit with a large-scale cyber attack, and yeah, I see that on here. They're being hit with an attack. I guess, you know, there's got to be somebody that's sitting like at a different chip maker that's upset that their stock is down. I'm not gonna say no
Yeah.
names, and they say, you
Yeah.
know what? Let's just go in there and disturb the peace. So.
What are the
Brand,
odds of that? Yeah.
yeah, brand new stuff. So yeah, they're being hit with a cyber attack. So if you're a current user, you can log in no problem, but new users are being limited to registration. I'm sure the number of registrations for this thing are going to skyrocket. I mean, I downloaded the app just to take a look at it. I haven't registered yet, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure it's gonna go insane, because again, we went from not hearing about you at all to, hey, look, we're live and we're here, and we're
Right.
disrupting Nvidia.
Yeah, and that's and I think JG. We were looking at that, and you were talking about it in the pre-market. But JG is the stock ticker for Aurora Mobile Limited,
Yep.
I believe.
Yes.
And
Yep.
that's the company that is responsible for DeepSeek. Yeah, and this cyber attack news is not helping Nvidia currently. You know, we're heading towards 118 here, and things are so volatile that my book map is like very slow.
Yeah.
I'm trying to like zoom out and see what price levels are below 118, and it's like freezing up. So yeah, wild stuff.
The volumes are crazy. I mean, Nvidia today, 370 million shares traded. Is that right? Yeah, 370 million shares traded. So the volumes are insane.
Yeah.
And you're seeing that here. So yeah, okay, things can act a little bit funny. Um,
Yeah.
all right, let's take a look here. Any more questions? Next level on Nvidia, we answered that one. Let's see what else you guys have. I sold 2 of my remaining puts on Nvidia. I keep the other one until Friday, see how it goes. Stefan, yeah, man. I again let it run. Be careful how long you let it run, but this is not good for Nvidia. It's
No.
reacting pretty harsh, man. It's not taking this well. So
Yeah. Yeah, the next level, I'm looking at here is we're approaching S5 on the longer term Camarilla points, and that is right around the longer term VWAP on Nvidia as well on the daily chart. I've got that um, at 116.72 or so. Um, so yeah, but we little bit of a retest on the 200-day moving average, and then we just lost it from there. So the
yeah,
reason I kept some on here is I Nvidia, when it has selling days, it can just really really sell. We remember back when before the 10-to-1 split, it would have
yeah.
days where it would just lose like 10%, similar to today. And yeah, it took me a couple of those days. Those days were few and far between, but generally they happened when it was gapped way way up, and it like pretty extended from the moving averages on the daily chart. And it took me 2 or 3 tries, but finally once I caught one of those, and just when it moved in my direction, I just put my stop loss in at break even, and I just said, you know what, I'm just gonna let this run, and caught huge move that day. So it seems like we're having another one of those, and I never want to get in the way of Nvidia selling when we see it
No,
really
not
happening.
like this. Yeah, not a
Yeah.
negative news, and given everything else that's going on. Next level I have here on the daily is 115. So let's go back to that September October time frame, because that's the last time we were hanging out here. Next level I have is 115. You mentioned 117, so a little bit higher. So we'll
Yep.
see.
Yep.
But yeah, man, it's got some levels down here. And you mentioned this thing can sell off, and we saw it recently. If you look at it here, beginning of the month, beginning of the year, look at the sell off we had when we hit all time highs. Massive drop. So this thing, when it gets going,
Right.
it can get going pretty good. On Friday, it did have a little bit of a sell off, nothing major, because it did gap up, so it just kind of gave some of the wins back. So it wasn't a big percentage as far as it being down. But today's
Yep.
a whole different story. Now,
Yeah. Now
so
this is
so
interesting. We're seeing a
yeah.
reaction right off of the S5 longer
Mm-hmm.
term Camarilla pivot point. For those who aren't familiar, it's something you can learn about by uh, of trading and of values that you can put on your starts, that you can learn a lot about in this community, and that a lot of traders in the variable community use. Um, you know, we are seeing the
Hey Phil, hold
S5
on a second,
cam.
Phil. You're breaking
Yeah,
up pretty bad now out of nowhere. Do this. I see you're connected to the chat room. Turn off your mic, and
yeah.
I'll even close the chat room out, the actual chat room, not our YouTube chat. Maybe that can help with the bandwidth. So yeah, disconnect your microphone because it is connected to the chat room. I see that. So let's just close that out, and then maybe that can help the connection because it got a little bit choppy there, so it was hard to understand what you were saying. All right, we'll
Gotcha.
wait for Phil to cut that off, and then. But yeah, he was mentioning we're seeing S5. We're seeing a little bit of a pullback, and these could be healthy pullbacks too. Like we want to see stuff like this. Healthy pullbacks can help the continuation go down. We want to see a very strong reversal pattern if we want to go reversal here. All right, Phil, we got you better
Yeah,
now.
is that better, Carlos?
Yeah, much better. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not sure. Not sure what happened there, but yeah. So it's just interesting to see the reactions as I was saying, at these Camarilla levels, and the S4 today, which is, if you get downside movement and volume through that, that can indicate further selling, as we saw. That was at 123.46. So, if you look what Nvidia did right around 123.46, is we went to that level, basically popped, did a bounce there. Buyers tried to come in, but then, consolidated a little bit above, then lost that, and just the selling really picked up. Um, and now we're down at S5. So, Yeah, very, very wild day.
Yeah, for sure is. If we're speaking purely fundamentals, what's the fair value for it? All hype, stripped, and all future expectations, etc. You know what? A great question. I don't have that. I don't know what the fair value is, but from what I hear on all the news sources, all the analysts, is that they feel the sentiment, right, which is sometimes even stronger than what the actual number is that it's overvalued, right? It's overvalued where it's at. They feel like, yes, it is the next best thing, and Nvidia is still going to be ahead of this by miles, right? Because on top of that, even if these people find a better way to do it, Nvidia's got the money, right? You got to remember that Nvidia's got the money behind it, so they can learn whatever they did and implement it even better. They got the money, they got the funds, right? This is why Apple's still hanging around me. The amount of they could have a couple of bad quarters, a couple of bad years. The amount of money they have on cash can get them through bad periods. So same thing with Nvidia. They got the money, but the problem here is they feel it's overvalued. I don't know what that number should be, but they're feeling it right now as far as dropping a little bit. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes. I mean, we this is all new. First day, we can come back tomorrow and this thing could be at all time highs. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
Deepseek is lying, or they're cooking the books. Who knows what kind of stuff is gonna come out of
right,
this, right? So
right.
it's a good thing for us day traders, man. Which is, again, don't get married to the news, the actual news itself. Just let the news create volatility for you. Trade the volatility, and that's what we're getting now, right? So that's a whole lot of fun. Apple, on the other hand,
Yeah,
man, heading northeast,
yeah. Look,
going the opposite
yeah, look
direction.
at that. Yeah, after so it's what is bad news for one company is good news for others. And maybe it's competitors in the AI space here. So yeah, Apple looked down and out. Broke a major trend line to the downside. We're coming up to retest that right now. Kind of. I was playing it short last week on a couple of those pushes down. Took a couple stops, took a couple winning trades, but yeah, look at that. And what else is green? So obviously JG, which is Aurora Mobile, which is the DeepSeek's parent company.
Yeah,
What everything is else is pretty darn red on my list. I've got Rivian is up. Probably just unrelated potentially, and yeah, just some others. But looking at generally at a sea of red in the tech space. You said Meta was going northeast today, but yeah, Meta's up 2%. Interesting. Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, look at that move on Meta.
Meta is
Jeez.
wild, man. Meta is wild. These guys,
Wow.
I'm again. I said this before. I'm so impressed with how these guys turn things around, man. If you look at a longer time frame here, I mean, these guys were struggling with this metaverse stuff. Remember that? This metaverse, like all this, he's just throwing money away with this meta universe. This stock was
Yeah.
$100. 20 the end of 2022, right? They were
I
just they
know.
couldn't get a win.
I
Look at it now.
I can't believe. Yeah, I was watching that and saying this is insanely low for for a company that has an app that like almost everyone in the world
No,
uses.
right. No
Um,
edge whatsoever.
and
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, man, I wasn't doing the long term thing really back then, but yeah, it got down to 100 or geez, no, it got down to 86 ish dollars, right around 86.50. I'm seeing,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
back
Yep.
in back October 2022, and then just look what it's done from there. Just absolutely blast into the Northeast. We're up at 660 right now, and it was $86.
Yeah.
2 years ago. Absolutely wild,
It is a fun one.
wild.
And Netflix, we just had earnings on Netflix. They did it very similar too. They were struggling, couldn't figure it out, and here they are, man, hitting all-time highs. Had a big week last week with their earnings, and they're holding. Like usually, you see the earnings get above 1,000, above 999, and they struggle. This one is actually holding here, so it's doing very very well after their earnings. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's great stuff, man. Great stuff.
Yeah. So we did have Nvidia threw some volume here, approaching the daily, VWAP on the daily chart and the S5 cam. So we'll see what it wants to do here. I'm trying to, again, my book map is just moving so slow. I think it's just like with the volatility of the markets. I don't know. Maybe my computer needs some upgraded
Needs an
RAM
upgrade.
or something. Yeah.
Needs a new Deepseek upgrade.
yeah. Let me get one of those Deepseek chips. And
Yeah. It's funny.
man.
Nvidia CEO might not be able to wear a leather jacket coming up to the next event. He might have to pull back on the leather jackets. And not be able to afford
I
one now.
know.
So
I know, man.
It's not going to be as
like
shiny.
a windbreaker or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not going to be as
He's
shiny.
feeling the cold now.
Oh man.
Oh man.
All right, some
So,
questions here. Let's get to what you guys think so far this morning. Let us know if you've been trading NVIDIA as well. Let us know in the chat here. Question, how do you guys configure long-term Camarilla pivots on DAS? I'm not sure if that's easy to explain, Phil. I don't use Camarilla pivot points. Is that something we can show here quickly, or is it something that we can refer to onto a video or something?
well, I know my screen's not being shared, but basically it's been a long time since I've done this, but you would right click on your chart and, don't hate me here if I run into a stumbling point, but you right click on your chart and then there's a selection you can click on that says study config. And so you click study config and that should give you the list of all the studies that you have applied to your charts. And as you'll notice, there's a list down below, and you would go down and the study is called study pivot point. The type is pivot point and the parameter is line comma cam. So I have that added and to my chart. Man, my DOS is moving slow right now.
Yeah, it's the volume, man. Volume is just pouring in from all directions. Look at NVIDIA as you're looking at that, man. NVIDIA back up to almost 120 here. So big push up, big volume coming in there. So again, just be careful, guys, if you're taking reversal. But this looks nice right there.
Yeah. And to just to follow up on that, so I just once I added that study up to the upper studies that show up on my chart, I double clicked on that, and there I'm looking at my settings, and I don't think I screwed too much with these. I know Thor in the community, Thor has some videos out there on how to set these up, or if you catch him during his live hours, which I think he's actually live right now. Am I correct, Carlos? Is Thor live right now?
Yeah, he's live in the chat right now. So yeah.
Yep. So that's something you can. That's a question he gets a lot, and as long as he isn't inundated with other questions, he will generally show folks how to set that up whenever asked. So yeah, but that's generally where you find it. I just showed you, but I know there is a scaling thing. You might see your chart get a little funky looking when they get on there, unless DOS has changed this. But there is.
I know what you're talking about, and that still does happen. So, yeah, you gotta get the scaling right. So
I think I think it's like a include in scale setting on the overall chart. I'm looking for it right now to see if I can find it.
Yep, absolutely. Amanda, while we look for that, if I join today, can I still do the onboarding call tonight? Absolutely. You join right now, you can join me at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and we're going to do the onboarding class tonight. And if you cannot make it at that time, there's a recording of it, but I always like people to come join me live, ask me questions, we'll have a good time, and we'll just go through everything in the community. So again, onboarding class tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time. I always tell people, give it a try, right? Take the monthly membership, take the weekly membership, and we'll show you exactly what our community is about. If you've been hanging out here on YouTube, you kind of have an idea already how the moderators are, how Andrew, Brian, how our trading is. We talk a lot about our strategy, so you got a good idea of what you're getting into. But in the onboarding class, we can dive deeper into all that good stuff. So join us there.
Yeah, something else you'll be able to see if you join for this week is I've got a webinar coming up tomorrow night, I believe at 8 p.m. in the webinar room, and that's going to be on just basic strategies for someone with a small account. Basic strategies for profitability. If you're trading with a small account, and that's specifically going to be geared towards using options, because options allow you to trade pretty much any of the major stocks that you'd like with significantly less capital than you would need if you were trading the actual stock of those companies. So yeah, it's something that my trading journey has sort of led me towards, and it's been great. So I love just sharing my journey and the strategies that I've learned in the community and on my own that have led to my long-term profitability with trading options with smaller accounts. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, should be good, man. I think I've seen a prior presentation of this one, so pretty cool stuff. Pretty good information, and not just for options traders. I feel like a lot of the stuff you went over here can also some of the technical terminology can be applied to regular day trading as well, like how to grow an account, how to think about it, do the risk management part. Maybe the technicals not so much, but the overall picture cannot be applied. So I always tell people, like, even if you're not trading options, go to these webinars, take what you can apply to your style of trading. As we see Nvidia doing a serious reversal here, I think. I mean, what's going on? So we hit a low of 117.26. We're up above 120. We're pushing, man. This is nice.
Yeah, and interesting. We were talking about it right when it kind of started to reverse here. We had said, oh, it's coming up to the fifth, the S5 Camarilla pivot point, which is just above the long-term VWAP on the daily chart. So it makes sense that we'd be seeing a reaction here. Now the question is, whether we get continuation on this reaction, or if the sellers step back in and say, no, we're not done. So we'll see. Again, I've got just a very, very small remaining position here. And my stop set at break even, so I don't even really care what happens at this point, because I can't lose anything on it. And I've just had a really, really awesome day so far. I'm at 11R for the day today. To put that in perspective, my a typical my typical day, a typical good day is about 3 to 4R. So 5-6R if I just nail one and done. So I'm at about double my double or triple my
your regular
what
moves,
I would call a good day. So
yeah, no,
so yeah, awesome.
That's awesome. Once in a while we catch these good ones, right? It doesn't happen often, but once in a while you catch these good ones, and man, it is nice. It is nice to see them develop like this. So good stuff there, man. Over in our chat, should you buy Nvidia? We have no idea what your plan is. So you have to tell us what your plan is here, and even then, it's you got to have a plan, right? There's some people right now in it for the long term that are seeing this as a sale. To them, this is a sale. Nvidia just went on sale for them because they're thinking, 5-10 years out. So they're loading the boat right now. This is a sale for them. It's like a Black Friday sale, right? So they're buying. There's some people that wanted to get in on the move and did not like it up here at 146. They're buying now. And there's some people that even if they did get in already and they want to add some more, they're buying. And there's some people that are freaking out that they bought and did not have a plan, and they're freaking out right now, saying, hey, I just got into this and I'm down already, $20+. So that hurts. So there's so much stuff going on there. I always tell people it depends on your plan. If you're looking to day trade it, obviously you can buy now, and you could have got in. I got out 2 seconds ago and you would have done very well. If you're looking to swing trade it, you got to do some kind of analysis, right? Of what do you see this in the future? So there's so much. But at the end of the day, is have a plan in place, manage your risk, and then stick to that plan. Because some people, they put a plan in place and they don't stick to it, and then the plan ends up working out, right? So that means you're either putting too much risk on one trade, and you're not letting the plan kind of follow through. So that's the most important thing. Have a plan in place.
Yeah, and as day traders, we ourselves, because we're using the term day in there, we generally know the time frame of our trades. My typical trade, I'm only in for about 5 minutes or so. So so me saying I think Nvidia is a buy right now is totally different from someone who's just looking to buy and add it to their long-term portfolio. So it's really a very very vague question is if Nvidia is a buy right now. My immediate follow-up question would be, well, what's your time frame? Maybe it's a buy for the rest of the day. But who knows? Who knows long term where this could go, especially with news like what we just got. So you just have to, if you're looking to be a day trader, one of the biggest things is knowing what time frame you're looking at. Are you going to try to hold something all day long? Are you more of a momentum or scalp trader where you're holding something for 1 or 2 minutes just for a quick little bounce or squeeze? That's something that by joining the community, you'll sort of start to find and find what works best for you, in that regard. So
Yeah, man. Yep. Just checking to see if any more news is out on this Deepseek cyber attack, but I don't see much going on. Again, just happened, so I'm sure by the time the next trading session comes along, we're going to have so much data, so much information on this Deepseek and what is it about and what's going on. So I'm going to keep my eyes attuned into all the stuff that's coming out on this thing, because obviously it's creating a lot of fun for us, especially here with Nvidia today. All right, friends, we're winding up here as we end the show. Please make sure before we leave that you hit that thumbs up. It really helps us know that, hey, you're enjoying the show. You want us to keep doing this every day live on YouTube until noon. Thanks, Phil, for covering for Avi today. Really appreciate it. So this is usually Avi's spot. And I'm filling in until we get another permanent person here. So, Phil, if you want to join the spot permanently, let me know. I don't want to put you on the spot, but it's open and available to you. So it's here, man.
Yeah, potentially.
It's here. Yeah, it's here.
Yeah, no, I had a great time. I joined Avi, when Paris, isn't able to make this slot from time to time. And no, it's great. I love talking to folks on YouTube, and, really would just say, if you're on the fence about joining the community and even just to try it out, which you can do for $1, it will blow your mind, the amount of information in the education center, the weekly webinars, the daily chat room. It really, if you're thinking about seriously day trading for a living, or trying to start that journey, you absolutely should check out this community. It's I've been a member for 5 years, and it's the only reason I have become profitable. In my day trading journey. So yeah, just, check it out. It's awesome hanging out with you guys. All the other mods you'll have so much to learn from them. And yeah, thanks for hanging out for the last hour.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, I just want to give you a quick reminder. There's so much going on this week, right? So stay tuned. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Here is our schedule. We're going to go live Wednesday afternoon at 3:30. Tesla, Meta, and Microsoft. That's going to be big. And we're going live also Thursday afternoon at 3:30 for Apple, Intel, and some other ones. So a lot happening there. On Wednesday at 2 p.m., we have Jerome Powell as well, giving out, I think that 2 o'clock, the minutes are released, and 2:30 his speech. We might stream that live here on YouTube. So if you guys want to see that, hit the thumbs up. We'll stream that as well, look at his commentary, and just kind of have some conversation around what's happening. So again, busy week. Started with something unexpectedly like Deepseek. Who would have thought?
Yeah. It's like a depth charge.
Oh man, what a way to charge things up! Like analysts didn't have enough to pay attention to already, right? Like analysts, can you imagine being an analyst preparing for the biggest week in a while. You got 4 of the top
Yeah.
7 reporting, and then they out of nowhere they hit you with this and say, "Hey, get me all the data you can on this."
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
No, it's
man.
crazy. It's certainly shaking things up. That's for sure. But hey, it's just another day in the stock market, man.
Absolutely. Friends, take care. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow morning at 8:30. Have a good one. Take care.
All right. See you
Thanks,
later,
Phil.
guys. Thanks, Carlos. Yep. Thanks, Carlos. See ya.